What is going on here, number one? Engage!
I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation.
Slow to impulse speed.
Stay calm, everyone. What is going on here, number one?
I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation.
Strange.
I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation.
I shouldn't be so confident.
I'm picking up an unusual disturbance in the nearby quadrant.
Stay calm, everyone.
I shouldn't be so confident.
Engage! On screen.
What the hell is going on?
I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation.
Strange. Make it so. I don't know.
No response, sir.
Enlarge and identify.
In my opinion, sir, they're gibberish.
I'm picking up an unusual disturbance in the nearby quadrant.
Engage. Move to intercept.
I shouldn't be so confident. Slow to impulse speed.
I would rather outthink them than outfight them.
Slow to impulse speed.
Stay calm, everyone.
I shouldn't be so confident.
Let's investigate. Not good enough, damn it! Not good enough! Engage. Let's investigate. Engage.
Slow to impulse speed.
I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation.
I would rather outthink them than outfight them.
I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation.
I don't know.
We must intervene.
Slow to impulse speed. What the hell is going on?
I'm picking up an unusual disturbance in the nearby quadrant.
On screen. Make it so.
I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation.
I would rather outthink them than outfight them.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live in Technicolor from the beautiful Hollywood Hills, California. The show where the total retail price of their advice is $0. This is Timelines Talk. Featuring guest stars, Dwarf action figure collector, Kapla, It's Stars and Garter. Also featuring, that's easy for you to say, it's Big McMarchu. Walk with the Prophets, it's Brother Benny. And now, bringing the band's drinking beer that's two-packed, here's your host, Captain Idol.
Yes, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, far-off beings from other worlds. Yes, welcome to Timelines Talks, the 100% all-natural, all-exclusive show devoted to all things Star Trek and Star Trek Timelines adjacent. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Stars and Garters in the corner there. I have Big Mook, large, huge, above me, and joining us yet again for what is hopefully to be another fantastic Q&A. Welcome again, Ben. And Ben, I have one thing to say to you, and that is, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, yes.
Thank you.
It's nice that
my
you
birthday
spend-
was yesterday.
No, it's fine. Let them get on it. Come
Oh,
on.
Yeah. Let it ride. Let it ride.
No, they're still going to sing to you at the end of the meal and bring the cake and everything. So
Just park it.
I was
That's
going to
coming.
burst into my house and just...
Just
yes,
bring
yes.
the cake over
Happy,
here.
happy
Don't worry,
birthday. Happy.
See, that's the positive side of like being doxxed, is that yes, you can be subject to like harassment, but people can pop in and just wish you happy birthday whenever they wish.
Give you free stuff.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for joining us
Good.
yet again. First off, how are you? How are things at Wicked Realm Games going over the last sort of couple of months? I think it was since the charity stream we last spoke.
Yeah, no, things have been doing good. The team's been really hard at work on our next feature and improvements, and I'll have some really fun things to talk about today that I'm excited about.
Fantastic. I just want to say first off, before we continue, I just want to say a big thanks to yourself, to Carmen, to Joe, and to Fury for joining us on the charity stream and having that section and doing that with us as well. But also a big thanks because you didn't have to do this part as well, but you also all of you donated something to the charity because I think you told us that you said that Wicked Realm Games couldn't get past the red tape in time, but you yourselves put some money in. So I always thank you very much for supporting us doing that and coming on the show as well. So yeah, I don't know if I said it at the time, but yeah, thank you.
Of course. Yeah, well, I actually do have an update on that. As you said, Wicked Realm Games wasn't able to cut the red tape in time, able to make a donation as a company, and many of us employees donated on our own. But we wanted to do something a little larger from the company, so we just made a donation yesterday, Wicked Realm Games and our parent company, Tilting Point, for $1,701, $1,701.
wow.
So, and that's to the
Very
Child's Play
good.
charity. And as a company, we've actually worked pretty hard on paving the way and cutting that red tape in order to do that. Another Tilting Point game, SpongeBob Krusty Cook-Off, recently had an offer where all of its proceeds went to a charity. I think it was around providing meals to families, and it was a huge success. So big shout out to the company as a whole and able to push on that initiative, and and in the future we want to try something very similar on Star Trek Timelines. This time it was just a donation for us, but having something in game that can, taking those proceeds and giving them to a charity, we think that's awesome. So we kind of want to use our platform for more than what it is now, and donate to some more charities. So the path is paved, it's open, it's ready to flex on that. So we're excited to try that in the future.
Awesome. No, that's very good of you. Thank you very much for that. For Fury in the chat, as you popped in, I've just got one thing to say, and that's Rock and Stone. Only Deep Rock Galactic people know about that. That's fine. She'll get it.
You wouldn't get it.
You wouldn't get it. You're not with the cool kids mining underground. Okay. Shall we carry on? So we've got a few questions from ourselves. Stars has compiled a few questions for us to read. A few little questions. And then... Oh, hang on. We nearly lost Ben there.
Sorry,
there we go. We're there. And then we'll go into the community questions. So first off, thank you very much to everyone that submitted questions. We couldn't answer them all this time. However, we will try and get as many of them in for the next session as we can. And as always, if you want to submit some questions for next time, or if you want to talk about this discussion, we now have a Discord for Timelines Talks, which you can see the link underneath. There's also a link should be in the description of this video. Follow there. You can come and talk about this here. We'll also have some other things to do with the show as well. But any questions or anything possibly in the future you want us to do for Wicked Realm Games or things like that, or anything for Timelines, come and jump in and join the discussion. But I think without any further ado, shall we start with our questions before we go on to the the community ones? So, Stars, would you like to take us away, please?
My pleasure. So first off, while we've had expansions for the story in the form of like episode 10 and new temporary achievements, The level cap for both the captain and VIP have stayed the same, like 99 and 14 respectively. We were just kind of curious, are there any plans to expand beyond those to reward like longer term players to give them something new to aim for, or is that sort of like a more of a hard cap in your mind?
Yeah, we haven't. I don't think we've ever revisited the max levels and the contents within them. Yeah, as for extending the VIP levels, we would want to have a purpose for it, right? So like a nice reward. So if we were to extend them, we would most likely want to develop like a new perk of getting those higher VIP levels, right? Like a bigger discount on things or new functionality, that those players will get bonuses for. So we don't have a plan for that right now. I definitely wouldn't take it off the table for sure. We're always looking to reward players who are and have been really loyal to us. So, and we're very thankful for that. So definitely wouldn't rule it off the table. We would just have to put some thought behind it. And as for the captain level, also we have no plans there. 99 was always meant to be the cap. And I believe a lot of players, at least from launch, from day one, we had a bug in our system where players were able to get to like level 80 in like one day. And we're like, oh, and we like immediately fixed it. And I don't know if we ever went back and like pulled those players back. So, but yeah, so 99's always been the cap. But yeah, go ahead.
So what bug was that, and how do I reproduce it?
It does not exist anymore. We crushed it. So.
Aren't you level 99 anyway?
That's a bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I can start an ult and just like start with all advantages. What could go wrong?
Go ahead.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry. Unless you finished.
I was going to say, yeah, just to that point too, like around extending those things. It's a difficult balance between doing those things and and making other adjustments to other improvements to other features and things like that. Yeah, it's always a balance.
Well, yeah, because you kind of have to meter between the people who say that the game is like pay to win essentially versus like keeping a good like free to play balance, and it's a case of like putting more stuff into the VIP levels. I can understand why that's a delicate thing to mess with. Right.
Yeah, and even like every player has their own player habits of what features they. We have a lot of features in Star Trek Timeline, so a lot of our players maybe don't touch Gauntlet, but they play in a lot of other features. So it's kind of hard to try to balance, try to only focus on one or the other. Yeah.
Cool. Big, do you want to ask the next question, please?
Yeah. Okay. So something a little lighter, I think. Are there any crew that you've released that were more popular with the player base than you were expecting?
Yes, George and Gracie for sure. Wow. We've tried to get, and I know Fury's listening. That was hers. Oh, yes. She was trying to get George and Gracie in for so long, and Fury actually didn't know George and Gracie was going to be added to Star Trek Timelines. I think like 5 minutes before the stream that she was on last time. She's like, how am I going to contain myself? She had no idea. She's been trying to get in the game for so long. So, George and Gracie for sure. We saw a lot of good praise on our social and on our forums. That one definitely stands out in my mind.
Okay. And the flip side of it, have you ever been disappointed with the reception for a crew that you really thought players would latch on to?
I think one of them was at least the binars, but I think that was just the circumstance of the fuse itself. It's not too often that we get to add new crew, new fuse crew in the game. And that one I think came across pretty poorly. And then a few of our originals as well. As a company, we were pretty excited about kind of marking our own territory on the Star Trek universe. And the first few definitely came across poorly, and I think it was one of them was the art. I forget the exact one. But over time, we've, especially with originals, we've definitely improved our game with Mirror Picard and those.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think maybe the binars are kind of a slow burn crew, because when they came out and the stats came out, it was initially kind of disappointing, but I think all three of us now have come back around to
Oh yeah.
get some part of the gold binars done now. So I mean, don't sleep on the binars. They're still not great statistically, but they're still a lot of fun.
We'll get that hero mega one day.
Collector piece.
Well,
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. It's like I got mine 1 out of 5 finally. It's a case of like it's literally a case of all for as a behold, but binars. So it adds long term value. So you know what, we can say that about them.
Yeah,
that is helpful.
Okay. Next one. I should have asked this from the start. But what are you drinking tonight? Because a couple of people in the chat just reminded us that usually you come with an array of outrageous beers.
Yeah. So this first one, cream puff war. It's a peach IPA. It's really good. I had a really good peach beer a while back on vacation, and I've been struggling to find a peach beer that's just as good as that one for years now. And this one's still not as good as the one I had, and I don't remember what it was. So I'm like stuck in this loop of like trying bad peach beers and like hoping. But this one's pretty good. This is probably one of the better ones that I've had.
It wasn't like a lambic or something, was it?
No.
Not to turn it off into beer talk or anything, but
no.
But yeah, those are delicious.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got a nice Boss Brewing. I literally this one I went for the art. This is called Kingpin Rising. I just thought I have to drink. It's actually not too bad. I'm drinking
nice.
Always go for the art. I went for one.
That's how Mafia works.
Yeah, it's how the art Mafia. It doesn't always work out because I found a 7.9. Was it a milkshake IPA or something like that? It was disgusting. Anyway, okay.
Heavy.
Yeah. Next question. What determines which events are rerun flashbacks? Is there an order, or are they chosen to coincide with the upcoming megas and collections, or are they essentially random? So do you have a plan to say, right, we're going to do this flashback, this rerun for this reason, or is it essentially a case of we haven't run this one for a while, let's do it?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, they're random, but we do have to fit in, like, obviously we can't run a rerun that we've already rerun before, within a certain time frame. But usually we plan out our events throughout the months, and we have a new event here, a mega here, and then kind of in between those spots, we'll designate those slots for flashbacks or flashbacks or reruns. And then from there, we kind of decide, all right, which event type kind of fits with the events around it. We don't want to do like a faction, right? We want to try to mix it up and add some variety in there. So that's when we, determine at least the type of event. And then from there, we have our list and say, we haven't run this one before, or, the crew in this one, have, really good ship abilities that, maybe they'll feed into the skirmish for the next week or something like that.
Cool. I hope you don't mind if I kind of springboard on that, but I'm kind of curious. Further to the rerun point is, you guys have mentioned that there's little interest in doing rerunning of expeditions because the player base isn't a massive fan of them. Are there any plans to retool those events so that the event crew from those expeditions could potentially feature in other events? Because maybe people have 1 or 2 stars missing on an expedition, but if they're never going to get rerun, then they have a worse chance of getting that. I don't know if that's a weird question, but
yeah, I mean that's a good point, and we do have other avenues to get those crew now with crew retrieval. But yeah, I mean, it's always in my mind being a product of how can we, reuse maybe or reinvent the systems we have. And yeah, expedition events are they're just so back and forth within the player base. I was recently talking to someone what if we kind of put one, what if we just ran one in between main events, right? As a midweek event or something like that. But yeah, it's we would probably want to revisit it and MC the chat yes, expeditions. No, don't do it.
They're betraying me. How dare they?
Yeah.
I'm kicking
so, I don't know. I mean,
if
there's interest, start a thread. I don't know. Start a thread on the forums or something, and get a petition going or something. Because I like them personally. I think they're fun, but it's back and forth with the community.
I have to say that the idea of an expedition being a midweek event is actually pretty intriguing. I think I would go for that.
Yeah, maybe in a slightly shorter time frame, because I think that's part of the reason why people don't vibe with expeditions, is because they are a bit of an endurance run compared to maybe a Galaxy or a faction where you can just kind of like jot in, jot out, and then like with expeditions you kind of have to just work at it. I think that's probably part of the reason why people get fatigued by them.
Yeah, and a while ago we did have, I think we did run a 3-part event, and expedition was one of those parts. So I'll have to go and really dig into like that data specifically and figure out, how many players did participate in that phase and how many turned out.
Yeah, don't rush. Stars, do you want to ask the next question before we get on?
Yeah, no, I was just like jittering and just like, please stop talking about expeditions. You're giving them ideas. Moving swiftly on for your mental health, Idle. So what are your thoughts on the ship battle meta? So like for a good few years now, like ever since the release of the Kraken and like discovery of the instant damage like strategy, it's basically Kraken or nothing, both for skirmish and for arena. And a lot of new ships tend to either be vanity pieces or they just slot into voyages for antimatter bonuses.
Yeah, it does seem to be like a one ship feature now with PvP. Yeah, we wish there was more variety in there. And there is some in the lower divisions. But not as much as we would like, and definitely not so much in the higher levels. It's on our massive list of things that we would like to change in the game. And every time that we make a new ship, that is something that we are thinking about as well. It's like, how can we change and add some variety and breathe some new life into arena and PvP. So that is something we're kind of keeping on our minds. Something we would like to visit in the future. It's just a lower priority as of right now.
Yeah, we've got quite a few questions about our arena tonight. We'll get on a few more of those as we go on. Big, do you want to carry on here?
Yeah. But if you're talking about shaking things up, then the other big thing that it seems to be with the players is Gauntlet. So do you have any plans to shake things up there? Adding new trait sets, changing the reward drops, or implementing different ways to get the Gauntlet gold crew, especially since a lot of them are pretty important now for collections.
Yeah, when developing gauntlets, so how our gauntlets are structured is that we have individual sets of gauntlets and they have their own set of traits, right? So it's not just so much like we can set a gauntlet live and just have the traits randomized on a massive wheel, just random ones. So and that's why you see the same trait combinations from time to time. We have talked about randomizing the traits if we were to revisit Gauntlet, which might, that would be good because I think it would breathe like new. There would be a new meta within the Gauntlet, right? Like just random traits. You have crew that you would probably never see in a Gauntlet that suddenly, getting those bonuses is big, and matters a lot. So, if we were to revisit the Gauntlet, that's something that, we would probably want to play around with. Yeah, I mean we would consider, and also like revisiting the start times, because we know that that's been like a pain point for some of our players. Making it easy for players around the world to have more convenience with the start times of gauntlets. But it's funny that this is a question that was brought up because we've recently been talking about the rewards from gauntlets. And our want to go back and revisit how that loot table works and the contents within it. No promises, obviously, but that's something that we've had a few conversations about, and we probably want to revisit like the jackpot table as well. The gold crew table, and figure out a different system that the player we could reward the player with the jackpot crew, make that system more clear.
Okay. One from me. Has Wicked Realm Games ever conceptualized... Oh, sorry, we lost Stars there. He'll be back. Has Wicked Realm Games ever conceptualized or experimented with a mega that had a choose your faction side mechanic? For example, like we have now, a survivalist mega themed around Voyager's Equinox, where the player could choose side to either Janeway or Ransom and earn different rewards to each path. And you have something similar in Galaxy, where you can choose to outfit, you can choose to supply different factions, but at the end it doesn't really change anything. Have you thought of actually, say, in those situations, making a sort of a different kind of end game in those scenarios?
Yeah, that's not something we have experimented with specifically in events. But like you said, like we do have those disputes in the main story. You can choose your side and you get different rewards there. That definitely would be interesting in the event space, and we haven't thought about it. But that might cause more players to possibly participate every week as well. If you have two different tracks of rewards, and the player has the crew in track A already fully fused and finished, and so maybe you don't really need it. So they'll go for the track 2 in that crew. So that's definitely after reading this, it's definitely been kind of marinating in my mind a bit of like the potential plus sides to that, and that's something I'll probably think about moving forward. But I wanted to ask you guys, like, do you guys participate in the event? Like, if if you already have a crew for that event that's already fully maxed, or the 4-star on the threshold, you don't really need that crew at all. Do you not participate in the event?
Well, I can say as someone that got the first to max on Adam not that long ago, it definitely affected my desire to participate in that event because I already had him, so there really wasn't much reason to.
Yeah, I think it's more important, like in reruns and flashbacks. We look at all the players in the game will look at that gold crew either at the 400k threshold or rank 1/500 and kind of go, do I need to participate? In the case of like, maybe I'll do a few for the SRs and get a bit of honor in, or essentially I won't. If it's not either someone that's going to take up a crew slot or someone I have finished, then chances are I probably won't.
Right.
I mean, I will say that the revision of the threshold rewards in events did help a lot for giving people more of a reason to participate. Because just getting that voyage token or the pack at 35, maybe at 350,000, that does give you a pretty good incentive.
Right.
But beyond that, it's where it gets a little different.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be something for me to think about.
Yeah, I think there was the right move to change the sort of the gold reward structure to having it's like 750 was now 2 crew, and sort of going up ranked top 30 is now 4 crew, which is okay, still a hell of a way to go, but like 750 is achievable for the people that really want that crew, and it makes you're thinking in your heads going, cool, that's only 3 sites if I wanted. It makes it a bit more, you're looking at sort of for the non-free to play spenders, for the people that have dilithium, we're looking at packs that come along and go, I need another star on them, and it kind of edges your incentive certain ways. I think that was quite a good move. It certainly spurred me to go a little bit further in certain events where I go, yeah, I'd rather have 2 of them than 1 of them for a few extra crons. So
yeah, and that change specifically was due, right? Like we wanted to revisit that structure for a while, and the release of Crew Retrieval was a perfect time to do that.
Big, would you like to ask the next question?
Yes. Okay. So you had talked a little bit about originals before and the reception to originals, and you've mentioned in the past that the implementation of new originals is essentially down to player demand. So have you considered a more formalized way to request original crew? Maybe some kind of Google form, just to maybe limit the effect of a few people talking a lot on the forums having an outsized amount of control over what you see as the player feedback.
Big, if you want to take a shot at me for constantly putting up threads about all my war variants, you can just say it, man. You can just say it right out.
Do I need to say it? Do I? It's evident at this point. It's just self-evident.
Yeah, I mean, we do have the crew brainstorming thread. I don't think it's called that. I think it's crew you want the game. We do have that thread, and I'll talk to Shan about possibly opening up a new discussion thread for originals specifically. Like I said before, like in the beginning, SOT originals were received very poorly, and so for a few years we were kind of scared to try them again and kind of experiment with that. But from our side, with our designers, they're a blast to make, right? You get to create this concept of of a character we all know and put a really cool twist on it, and really unique twist, and kind of put our own stamp on the Star Trek universe. So yeah, I mean, we're definitely open to doing more of them. They do take a little more time from the CAB step, the design step as well. But yeah, I'll talk to Shan about creating a thread for originals specifically. But for now, you can use the the regular crew you want in the game thread.
Fair enough. So there are a total of about 15 factions in the game. But it's sort of safe to say that a good few of them have been neglected over time. Marquis, Zindi, Hirogen, most notably. Borg faction was added before Hirogen got a card over blue rarity, for example, I'm pretty sure. Are there any plans to address the balance and add more crew to these undeveloped factions in the future?
Yeah, so with our next client update with 8.10, we have actually changed the faction centers, so you no longer have to warp to those locations.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so you can just quickly go right through them. Take a look at what faction items you need. Take a look at the crew that are in there. Yeah, I mean, that's been a change we've been trying to get in for a few years now, but it's been a little difficult to kind of pull those panels apart from from warping locations. But we're able to do that, and that's one of our many changes for 8.0. If we can, we're hoping to revisit the contents within the faction shop, each faction shop for the 8.10 release. If we can't get to it during that client update, then we're hoping to do it shortly after. It's that whole system needs to be relooked at as in like what is in it, the prices of those things, what unlocks when with each faction friendly or honored or whatnot with each faction level. So that's something that we'll be taking a look at. As for making them buyable more than once per day, that's probably something that won't happen. That's kind of that's kind of the thing about the faction shops that is kind of contained. It has that rotating item list, rotating crew list, but it probably wouldn't make them more purchasable more than once.
Listen, if I can spend Federation Pole Stars to buy Caliphate Kirk, I'll be happy.
Would you accept these rocks for your slightly used Maserati, sir?
Please take my Starfleet Pole Stars. Okay. Last question from ourselves before we move on to community questions. We've kind of all spoken in the show, and we've spoken to sort of various people about the weird relationship that players now have with honor sales and the honor currency at the moment. And appreciate you can't talk specifics about upcoming marketing strategies. But has there been any discussion since the last couple of honor sales and since the sort of uptick in the last sort of year and a half with the community sort of hoarding honor about approaching the honor sale in a different way or addressing how we can spend honor differently in the honor hall?
I regret even saying hoarding once on the stream. So
I meant that earnestly. There was no kind of like interest.
No,
it's just a thing. People do hoard honor, but yeah.
Right. It's not due to anything I was saying either, but yeah, it's due to the honor sales that we have every few months, right? If you want to spend your honor efficiently, that's the right way to do it. And we've kind of backed ourselves into a kind of a corner there around the health of the currency and what is being spent in the honor hall. But with any changes there, like there's always a risk, right? And by nature, any changes are usually a negative thing. It's just looked at from the player's point of view at first until they kind of get used to the new system or the new way things are. But players are used to doing something being one way, and changing that can disrupt the player's flow. We do understand that some of our players have decided to wait on honor sales to spend their honor, and that can be a pain point, not knowing when the next one will be. This is, however, not something that is likely to change at this time, though we have had to rethink our major sales due to the release of Crew Retrieval and our next feature that I'll be showing off later today. So you might see some slight changes to those major sales moving forward. So the next time we update update the premium portal and have elusive treasures, we may. It's not out of the realm of possibility that we may discount, the legendary citations in the honor hall to kind of hold players over until that next honor sale. It probably won't be the same value as what they would be during the honor sale, but we'd probably discount them by 20% or so, I would think. That's just me just throwing a number out, which would still be, I think, it would help. It would help that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what sort of we were saying, is like in line of, now we've got that reduced point of price, then maybe the honor hall itself should accommodate what people are used to expecting. So yeah, I think that's possibly one of the ways to go about it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all from ourselves, our questions. Thank you very much to everyone that submitted questions. We are now going to ask your ones. Big, please start off with your first victim.
Yeah, first victim, one we all know well, one of our beloved geese, Janice and Danian, former guest on the show, hopefully future guest on the show. So his question is, the 600 immortalized crew achievement has been in the game for a long time, and the number of crew is now well past 1,000. You've done great work with temporary achievements for a variety of rewards like new crew, for crew retrieval goodies, etc. What plans are there to expand any existing permanent achievements like crew immortalized?
Yeah, I'm glad there's praise for temporary achievements, because I think about a year ago
we love them.
We advanced our tech a bit to be able to run them more, because we got a lot of good feedback from you guys around how exciting and how those are to the player's point of view, and it gives product another lever to pull during special occasions like Picard Day we have coming up. Maybe you'll see one. But yeah, I'll have to double check and make sure extending the immortalization achievement works properly. That's something I have to look into. I believe it used to count all immortalizations, and I think we changed that to unique crew immortalizations. So if you immortalize the same crew with the same type of crew twice, it would count, and then we changed it to not count that. But I vaguely remember doing that, but I don't know if that's true. Okay. So I'll have to go back. And look. And I think that's why we haven't updated it yet, because it does require a little more investigation and one more time to kind of look into it. But yeah, I mean, another one that we might need to extend soon is probably the hours spent on a voyage. With all the collections we've released recently, all of them have skill buffs, right? And with those skill buffs, voyages are getting longer and longer.
They are indeed.
So that's something that we'll have to look into.
And we have in just to plug our own Discord again, which you can get a link below. Come. We actually are keeping a list of the people that have hit natural 12-hour voyages, and we're keeping a kind of leaderboard at the moment. We've currently got about 4 people on there at the moment, 4 or 5. So it's definitely a nice sort of achievement to kind of get to now, and that's gonna be quite cool.
And is that without using a token, or is that with
no tokens? Just complete straight 12 hours.
Yeah, no tokens.
Yeah.
So some
that is the new.
Yeah,
it's the new benchmark for
it's the Pokemon Hall of Fame,
voyages.
Essentially.
For showing off, yeah.
yeah. I think the lead...
Oh, and he...
let me just bring you up the lead time, which I do have here. The current leader is Space Junkie Zone Cold with 12 hours, 10 minutes, 12 seconds straight on at number 1. So he's the current record holder. So that's what you got to beat.
And he also had another question: is that why have the Tuesday packs during the Mega, which have featured trait crew, changed from 490 dilithium to 390 dilithium, and then back to 490 dilithium with no explanation?
Yeah, as for that trait Mega, that was 490 went to 390. I think that was actually a mistake on our end, and it was out there for a day, and we're like, well, we don't want to change it now. Let's just leave it the way it is. So I think that was a mistake on our end, and we've actually made some adjustments and made sure that it's not going to happen again in the future. But the price for those should be 490, just like our rerun pack. So we apologize for that confusion.
That was a beautiful 2 or 3 megas.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was an experiment. Yeah, I should have just said that. It was an experiment.
It's marketing.
It's fine. It's all part of kayfabe. We won't tell anyone. Oh wait, there's don't look at the audience. It's fine. Moving on. This is a question from Peregrine from Discord. Do you intend to update the ship schematics in the arena rewards? People are very interested to know the answer to this
a couple
one.
of questions about a lot of arena stuff in that.
Yeah, I'd like to revisit those because I don't think they've changed since last year. That's something we want to do. It's just trying to find the right time to do it. It might just be waiting till next year to do it. I'd like to get to it sooner than that, but we'll definitely revisit that soon.
Okay. And second part of the question, do you have plans to show a crew's passive ship abilities on their card everywhere in all UIs, regardless of said crew's portal status?
So are they talking about the equipment bonus stats?
I believe so, yeah, the passive ship abilities rather than the active.
Yeah, if that's the case, currently we don't have a plan to add that in all of the UIs because that really is based off of the crew's level. Right, and usually in that panel, you're looking at a crew.
Equipment.
You're looking at a crew that's not leveled, or one that you have popped in the portal or whatnot, which is going to be a level 1. So, but if it relates to specifically showing, because I saw a forum post recently around showing like the boarding percentage, how much additional boarding percentage there is of the crew ability. I'll have to follow up with an engineer about that. I believe they had, all those crew that have that ability have the same percentage, and they stack, one on top of the other if multiple of those crew use that ability. We'd have to, add some support, add some UI to support that. But yeah, that's something that our, I'll have our UI think about.
Okay, this next question is from Around the Campfire from Reddit. Thank you very much. Can we change Arena to be... This isn't a question, this is a demand. Can we change Arena to be a combination of Skirmish and Gauntlet with loot boxes and Arena exclusively? I think what you're trying to say is, we play Gauntlet, we get something out of it. We play Skirmish, we get a little something out of it, a little sort of loot box. But with Arena, we're kind of getting 1,000 credits, and I think it's 1,500 if you hit number 1. I think he's sort of saying...
15,000.
Yeah. Is there any plans to sort of add anything, or can there be some sort of facility to get a little bit more reward, a bit more incentive to even play the arena outside of dailies?
Yeah, that's.
Oh, hang on.
Previous question, but I can just yes. Oops.
Sorry,
lose
Ben, we lost you there a bit. Just 5 seconds.
Okay.
Lost you there.
So we after reading this question, definitely started to bounce around in my mind of I could definitely see us adding an additional reward to all those tiers in arena. So I'll have to kind of think about that. I'll noodle on it and talk to a designer. But I think the arena and the Gauntlet loot specifically probably needs to be updated because we haven't visited those in a while. That's something that we'll noodle on and hopefully we'll update that, soon, but no plans on that currently. Those are the kind of things that we'll find time for if it's like, oh, we have a half a sprint that's just open that we don't have to start something new yet, or it's like, oh, well, we'll update these things or we'll do that. But that's definitely something that we'll consider moving forward.
Cool. A couple more questions from Around the Campfire. A couple more demands even. Can we make it so that putting a particular character on a particular ship changes the ship's star rating and or ability? So I think they're asking that the crew members would have influenced the ship more than just what the crew member does in terms of their sort of passive abilities.
Yeah, I mean that's something that we would love to revisit how ships work. I think I've said on the stream before, the whole ship system was created, I think, 2 or 3 weeks before the game launched originally. It was just we need another thing, do the thing. Okay, doing it. But yeah, ships specifically, that whole system, we would love to kind of revisit that eventually. And we have given it new coats of paint here and there. We added new ship abilities. I think about 2 years ago when we released Skirmishes, or after we released Skirmishes. Yeah, I'll have to. That's definitely that's something on our list, and a lot of our old features we like to revisit. All of them are on our old list, our big old list of stuff to do.
Yeah, because it would be very cool if you could have like a thematic ship ability boost, like all mirror crew on ISS Discovery, and suddenly it gives like an attack boost, or you stack all Enterprise D crew members on an Enterprise D and it gets like a evasion boost or something like that. It would be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't mean to go off book here for a second, but you're talking about things that you're wanting to fix. Is there anything in particular that you think needs to be updated or fixed that we haven't necessarily talked about?
The stuck voyage bug. That's definitely something that is on our mind all the time. And I know there's a question later on about it specifically, but yeah, I mean, I can give my update on that now. So we have dedicated a bunch of sprints, and pulled engineers in and many people from all of our departments in. We've dedicated days and time to it. We have made some progress. There's still more to be done. There's still something that is on the top of our list. We are hoping to address it soon. That's a conversation that I have with our product owner the other day. That's something we're hope to address, hopefully this year.
I'd just like to say
because we don't want it. It's a bad bug, and I've seen like people on the forums that are like, they're getting money from this bug, and I'm like, no, like this is costing us money. We have to give out, give out compensation, give out this and that, and give that currency. So it's very frustrating to us, and we know it's very frustrating to you guys as well. So I just want to reiterate that it's something that we're still looking at. We're still tracking it down. At this point, maybe we'll just rewrite all of Voyage's code. Maybe it'll be fixed, but
yeah. To add on to your point, like I think it's worth stating that like that bug is, like, I think you've mentioned before that you only managed to reproduce it like a relatively short while ago. And from my personal experience, I've never had a stuck voyage, and I've done multiple 11 like extended voyages and done the 24-hour one. It's like it's a very weird bug that I don't know what triggers it, and it's like I don't think you can do it reliably. So tracking that down and working out exactly what's causing it, like that's going to be an elusive thing, and not having a quick fix is it's to be understood. Is
yeah. I mean, it's been in the game too long for our liking. I think everyone kind of knows that by now. So it's still something that we will address.
Big, I believe you're up.
All right. So the next question comes from Mythos. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one on Discord. And his question is, their question is, shouldn't presume anything. Now that the proliferation of legendary cards has made it impossible for anyone to consider getting them all, have you considered letting them be trading cards? Perhaps let fleet members trade cards with some kind of cut for the house, like credits or dill. That way, someone who might have several Gary 7s but has never gotten the Red Angel could trade.
Yeah, we've gotten requests for something like this, a while ago since the game was launched, of like, as for like trading card kind of style. And we've ended up finding like a I guess like half of that opportunity with crew retrieval, of like just getting the crew that you want that you want. And we have also addressed this even more with a new feature that is set to release hopefully in mid-July. I'll show it off in a little bit. But we've shied away from straight up trading in the past for many reasons. I'm not really gonna get into specifically here. But we think we've come up with a good solution as of right now for the problem of I want crew X. How can I get crew X, right? But I think there is something to be said for giving the players the tools and progression path to play and unlock and collect those characters from the choosing, and kind of interacting with your friends within the game, with your mates. Of like this examples like, my fleet mate has 3 of this crew, but I don't have them yet. But our a feature I'll be showing off a little later will kind of help with that.
Yeah, it's just sort of like you've talked before about the possibility of like how to balance the game economy, and I think in people's minds it'll work like Pokemon, where like, oh, I have 3 legendary Pokemon, and I can just trade them to people who don't have them, but it'll probably end up being more like Idle. You'll probably appreciate this, where Star Trek Online, where it's like, I want to get the Discovery Crossfield class. Oh, I better go into the marketplace and pay exorbitant amounts of money for the one crew I want, because everyone who has that crew or that ship rather. They have all of it, and you don't have any of it. So the demand flow is one way, essentially. Really,
listen,
it's hard to get the quota change.
I want to be able to send someone my Resistance Neelix and have it evolve into a Tactical Officer Neelix. If we're talking Pokemon here.
Yeah, I mean, it's like your description makes it almost sound like Ticketmaster or some kind of like ticket for a sporting event or something, where a bot comes in and just buys all the tickets and then sells them to you for whatever they feel like charging you.
Yeah. And I think this is going to dovetail sort of like with that question is that from SSR Barkley on Discord, now that development on Retrieval has ended, are there any new game modes or events in the works that would give players something new in the game to play and to look forward to, akin to skirmishes or to a lesser degree campaigns? Many veteran players are looking for something truly new to do on a regular basis. Now, I believe you have said in the past that Retrieval was meant to be like a 2-phase thing, and I'm guessing that will work with what you've got in mind.
Yeah, so phase two of that is set to come out in mid-July, and that's what I'll be showing live here and doing a little demo in a little bit. But to expand on your question, like after that feature goes live, after the one I'm going to show off today, after that one goes live, we'll start working on something else. There's always something new in our pipeline. And we're currently in the process of deciding what that next thing is. So we aren't ready to announce anything or any details on it yet, but we do have our product goals finalized for that. And so from here, it's all about kind of brainstorming and having sessions with the team and with design and taking feedback from Shan and the community, figure out what the game needs, and kind of pull that all into one thing and into one idea. So that's where we currently are for that. As for other updates that are going on, it's September for Star Trek Day. We'll have a bunch of great stuff going on there. We always do something around that time. So the thing we'll have going on there, I'm pretty sure you guys all will love. Plenty of content in between, like we have been doing for years now. I'm hoping to be able to announce more specifics of some of the content in the next few months, possibly this summer. So hoping to announce some of those things this summer.
Coming to a mobile handset, PC device, or tablet near you.
and yeah, this is probably a good opportunity for me to show off.
Yeah, let's
and kind of do a demo here of our next feature. Let me organize my notes here a bit. So. So we've been busy after Crew Retrieval, and even we said from the start that Crew Retrieval was kind of phase 1 of this overall idea, and this is phase 2. At least this new feature is phase 2, and we also have some other a few quality of life improvements and some adjustments,
I have just noticed,
and a few small updates to Crew Retrieval as well.
I've just noticed your very, very obvious thing there, which is your Trip Tucker avatar. No, your new purchase button there.
Yeah, so we have a new purchase button.
Interesting.
And the thing right above it too. So we ended up moving the LTO placement. We have this kind of like blue square up in the corner, and it was kind of ugly looking. But we tried to kind of centralize, where do you go for purchases, for either it's for currencies or for money, USD. We took the LTO placement, we brought it down, and it has all the same functionality to it. These are temporary timers. We will not have offers that last 330 days.
I was going to say, if it's going to stick around that long, I'll have time to have my gift cards and stuff for Christmas, so I can cash all that in.
No, I mean this is our daily environment. So this client builds every day. So you'll see things that will never like offers or packs. If I go into the time portal, those things, they're not set to go live anytime soon. They're just all temporary. They're all test packs and stuff like that. So if you see any offers in there, don't think they're coming soon.
All coming soon.
That's where
Yeah, got it.
that's where stabbed Picard is going to live and die forever.
How do you guys know about that?
I don't know. A little bird told us it's fine. He lives, he dies, he lives again.
Yeah, we will not be releasing Stabbed Picard or Simulated Spock at all anytime soon. So, so we have this new purchase button here. So we kind of centralize where purchases happen. And I'm not sure how you guys are going to react to this, but we have another pop out here. We know it was kind of mixed opinions with the crew button, changing that to manifest. But the crew button is I think used a lot more than what the time portal and the purchase button down here is used for on a daily purpose. And we really wanted to centralize where purchases happen and also bring the faction trading centers to more of our forefront because it's definitely an unused feature. And like I said, we're hoping to kind of revisit those loot tables within each faction shop, either for this update or post 8.10 update. But first, I'll kind of dig into the faction shop.
Okay.
So, oops, clicked on something that wasn't.
You have just bought Captain Kirk.
Okay. Sorry, a little slow at the moment. Okay, so as you can see, I can kind of I can kind of flip through these faction shops.
Yeah.
With very little time, right? Flipping between them.
Yeah, that's much nicer.
And that's nice. So I can take a look and see what I always need. What's that damn equipment? The augment one.
Science experiments.
Yeah. So I can quickly kind of jump between faction to faction to see if which one if there's anything that I need immediately. And yeah, we're hoping to update the contents within here as well. So that includes pricing adjustments and maybe adding a 4-star in there as well. And I think
you got like 7 million to lithium. I don't know what you're worried about.
Oh, it's a dev account. I can spend it. Yeah. But that's that.
Splash around.
Yeah, treat yourself.
Yeah. So that's a change we're looking forward to. But I was kind of curious. I wanted to ask you guys what contents would you like to see within each faction shop? Which what loot specifically?
I think it's definitely like the harder to get sort of like 2-star items. Like the reason we go to the augment shop is to get those 2-star science experiments. So more the items like that. I don't know. Maybe certain pole stars would be quite nice to say. Like go to mirror, you can get the mirror pole star. Maybe I mean, you might think that might mess with your economy a little bit the way it sort of works at the moment, but that could be an idea. Hey, you could get Federation pole stars at the Federation shop. Everyone would go for that.
As if anyone needs more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I'm nearly out of my 10.
No, I mean, I definitely think that maybe having some more crew options would be nice. Maybe having more than one at a time, like you were just mentioning. I think that would definitely be nice.
If you're talking about different price points for that, obviously we're looking at Kirk for 15,000 dilithium is outrageous. So I know there's a lot of people that say like, oh, they put it there so that it looks good against the other offers, which I'm sure is a thing in certain ways. But looking at that a different way would be nice to sort of have because you've offered Beholds for 1,500. Maybe if there was a reasonable price akin to something what you offer in the Retrieval, which I think is 4,400 or something like that for a completely. I have no quantum. I want to retrieve now. Maybe something that lines up a bit more with that. Yeah.
Yeah, like a themed Behold that would scour for all mirror or Section 31 line crew would be interesting. Like a high possibility of failure, but you take that chance.
I want a Borg now.
0 to Borg in 3.5 seconds.
I know one of our designers, Woods, is listening. He's listening. Yeah. So write all these down, Woods. These are all great ideas.
Write this down. Get this all down. Idle, your volume is a little bit low instead.
I know, yeah. I'm just going to move the mic a little closer to my voice.
Yeah, I don't know if we have like 5-star schematics in any of these either.
No, I don't
Maybe
think you do.
That'd be
also
true.
add.
Yeah.
And maybe some gold equipment crates just for
Requisition crates.
Bring them back.
Just for idle, yeah.
You know what? Like paying like maybe 1,000 merits for a requisition crate, I would actually do that every now
I
and
could
then.
see that. I wouldn't pay dilithium, but I would pay some of my other
Like merits or
expenditure
credits,
ones,
so that would I'd do that.
I think Gauntlet actually might be a good spot for those, to be honest.
yeah.
Kind of thinking about it.
Yeah.
So
Actually, no, aren't
Yeah,
they
I
already
would
in
make
Gauntlet
more-
anyway? Because you get equipment drops.
We get like
there's
one.
there's
piece of equipment.
lower
Yeah.
rarity.
Okay.
I think it's like 2 to 3-star rarity, but yeah, I could see us having maybe some force and buys in there. Cool. So next thing, I'm going to jump over to the crew quarters here. So a quality of life improvement that we've made is we have added the crew's fully equipped, not fused, and fully fused level 100 stats here.
Nice.
So this was something that only lived in the crew pop-up panel. And we saw a lot of players in the forums, like how useful it was just seeing the overall power of these crew, especially when you're kind of comparing them when you're in a behold of what's the overall skill, what am I looking for. We've kind of added it here as well.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
And we've also added where you can acquire these crew, which currently we didn't have here. So now we have a good flow of if you're looking through your crew, you're searching for a crew, that has an upcoming mega or whatnot. You can kind of piece together where you can get more copies of this crew, and this will update as well. So if it's a Gauntlet specific, a Gauntlet exclusive crew, it'll say go to Gauntlet. If there's an offer or there's something in the time portal that offers that crew, it'll say go to that offer, or go to that pack, and it'll take you to the time portal. I don't know if I have one specifically right now. I know I had a 4-star somewhere.
Got a lovely crew, man.
I have lots of 4-stars.
Idle, you shut your goddamn mouth.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a change I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
You won that.
All right. So for the big feature we've been working on, in the purchase button here, you probably already saw it. It's the Celestial Market. So I'll kind of enter it here. There's a few ways that you can interact with the Celestial Market. So the Celestial Market is a player-driven marketplace where pole stars and constellations can be bought and sold from player to player using ISM.
Okay.
So this is another avenue to sell pole stars, sell assets, buy ones you need, and sell ones you don't need. So there's a couple ways players can interact with this. So let's kind of go through them all, and I'll start with tap around the info panel here. We can kind of get a better idea. So Celestial Market allows captains to transfer possession of pole stars and constellations between them in exchange for ISM. Browse the Celestial Market to find the pole stars that you need for crew retrieval, or sell extra pole stars and constellations for profit, which you can then invest in finding your next rare crew or legendary crew. Orders. So orders allow you to specify the pole star or constellations that you would like to purchase and the amount of ISM you are willing to pay for them. When you create an order, the ISM is taken into escrow account, and the order lives for, right now it's temporary, says end days, but that order will live for 30 days. So it will be there for 30 days, or until it is fulfilled, or until someone fulfills that order. If the order is canceled or expires, the ISM and escrow will be returned. Orders of the same price are fulfilled in a first in, first out order of operations.
Okay, so first come, first serve.
Yep. So listings allow you to specify the pole stars or constellations that you would like to sell and the amount of ISM you would like in return. When you create a listing, the pole stars or constellations are taken into escrow. Same with the buy order with ISM. And the order lives there for 30 days or until that listing is fulfilled. If the listing is canceled or expires, the pole stars or constellations remaining in escrow are returned. Listings of the same price are fulfilled in a first in, first out order of operations, same as orders. Okay, so let's kind of go through a few scenarios here, and everything here. Shan will have a summary and a walkthrough that she'll post on the forums very soon if she hasn't done already. So keep an eye out for that. So to buy an asset, we buy an asset by placing an order. Players can set orders, an order, a constellation, or a pole star at a player's determined price, hoping another player will sell that asset to you for that price and fulfill that order. So I'm going to go and select the brutal pole star here. And I'm going to tap on inspect. And now I have a few options here. I can go straight to retrieval and have that pole star automatically selected, but I want to place an order right now. So place an order. And here I can determine how many that I would like to buy and at what price I'm willing to pay for them. So let's say like I have 2 brutal crew that, or 3 brutal crew that I have in mind that I want to get in crew retrieval. So, I'll just, up it to 2 for now. How much am I willing to buy for them or, spend ISM? Let's just say 600. And that's low. I mean, all these numbers are going to be set by the players, by you guys, of the value of what each of these pole stars and constellations are. So
To the moon!
we're kind of excited, but also a little scared to see what happens, right?
Oh, my word.
And we can see these assets changing price as megas are announced and certain traits with pole stars become more expensive and a little more rare. So we're excited to see. So for this,
I'm going to start building
here,
a portfolio. Christ.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Shit.
I wish we had a little like stock chart, like see the numbers going up to the moon.
I reckon some enterprising person will make that. I'm sure by the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. So from here, I'm willing to spend 600 for each, for a total of 1,200. So I'm just going to place the order. Are you sure I'd like to? Yes, I want to do that. So
I would like to order some
now I've set a
brutality,
buy order. So now I've set a buy order. So I'm hoping someone's going to fulfill that. And let's kind of run through the same thing with a sell right now.
Thank you, Dan, for that. Pole stonks.
Stonks.
So you can sell an asset by placing a listing on that asset. So players can list an asset for sale at the player's determined price, hoping another player will fulfill that listing and buy that asset. So let's kind of run through that. So I'm at my current owned filter here. So let's select Commander Uhura and go to inspect. And there's a few things that actually pop up over here. I can see how many are currently for sale and how many are sold in the past 24 hours. So I'll talk about those in a little bit, but that's just a little more information. So I'll go to inspect, list for sale here. And I can also view it in inventory as well if I want to. List for sale. So yeah, I'm hoping let's just set this to 400. So I'm willing to sell it for 400. I hope there's buyers for it. Cool. So now I have set that listing live. So this functionality, is the same as in orders under specific conditions. So I also have quicker options to manage my assets here. So I can do a quick buy that will take the cheapest ISM amount that there are current listings. So you can see there's a couple orders here so I can select one of them here, and I can see there's a buy now button. So this is the current lowest price that that I can spend to get this asset. So we've also added some quicker ways to, and again, all these numbers are completely temporary and made up by our testers and whatnot. So yeah, so we have a buy now which we can do, which is pretty cool. Okay, so let's jump over to my transactions. So we have a few things over here. So far I've set an order and I've set a listing. So we can take a look at our current transactions and our past transactions in the My Transactions tab here. So here I can see my orders and listings. Let's take a look at them. My orders, I can cancel it at any time. It tells you what it is, how many, in exchange for how many of each. And then the timer countdown of when this order will expire. I can set a maximum of 10 orders and 10 listings. Obviously, we don't want everyone just kind of flooding the market with a bunch of stuff. So we have a limit of 10 for each. And then for my listings, you can see here, one Diplomat Polestar is still listed right now, and ISM from it. And I can cancel them at any time. So I know Fury is listening. Fury, if you want to go ahead and buy my Diplomat Polestar that is currently listed.
Fury, I think he's stinging you here. I think you'll haggle him down like this. That's outrageous. That's well above market value.
I really want that ISM. If you can go ahead and buy that one Diplomat Polestar. Oh, look at it. That was quick. Awesome. Thank you, Fury. So you can see I got a pip, and it was pretty quick. So in my transactions, go to claimable, and here that is. Oh, she bought the Commander Uhura constellation for me. So now I got 400 ISM. So she took your word. She took your word for it. She didn't buy the Diplomat one. She's
gonna get human.
I didn't get her.
Buy. Sell.
Cool. So I'll claim that, and I got 400 ISM for that, for a constellation that I didn't want. So that's pretty cool. The two other things that are listed there. So the claimable, obviously, that's something that if you set an order or a listing and that is fulfilled, it'll show up in the claimable tab here. So after an order or listing goes through, that's where you can claim it. And also there's a transaction history where you can see your receipts, basically, of what you bought, when, and for how much. And that's kind of like a little historical thing of, maybe I'm kind of looking at the prices and be like, oh, I spent so much more for that, 7 days ago, and now it's so much cheaper. Maybe next time I should kind of wait. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
First question.
There's a Commander Uhura shortage going on right now.
It's crazy. You can just buy her up. Musicians always need. First question, if you don't mind, before you go on to something.
Yep.
Are you planning to just limit this to Polestars, constellations, and sort of ISM, or would you sort of, obviously you're not going to put crew in here, but would you sort of be open to the idea of sort of items or other faction equipment or something sort of the more like, I don't know, no one wants it, but trainers and things like
Schematics?
Schematics, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this feature was developed as a part 2 of retrieval, and so we were at that time we were only thinking of constellations, Polestars, and ISM. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me check some of my messages and see if people are yelling at me. If I said anything wrong or incorrect. I have a few.
I don't know
of them,
if I'm jumping ahead of the demo here, but I did see a mention of dematerializing a constellation. I'm not sure if that's just a terminology that I'm not familiar with, or if that's a new thing. Oh dear.
You didn't see that anywhere.
I'll just pluck up my own eyes. It's fine.
All 69 of you
live on stream.
Yeah, just forget that.
It's fine. Okay. That's a secret between you and me, buddy.
Alrighty. So the next thing I want to talk about is filters. So we implemented a plethora of filters options to make it easy for the player to navigate, find, and discover different options while exploring the Celestial Marketplace. So let's kind of go down each one. So we have all items alphabetically. So this is all constellations and pole stars alphabetically. I'll get to the little heart icons in a second here, but alphabetically. And then we have all items by price, low to high, so you can see what is currently the cheapest. You can also see from this panel too that this one that's purple, that's one I already own, but you see these black ones, those are ones I don't currently have.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
we did spend a decent amount of time on making sure the iconography and the details here really matter to the player, and so you can quickly kind of just go through and see what you need, or what the current price of these things are. So we also have from low to high, and we have high to low. You can see what's the most expensive. That's crazy.
Someone really wants what's her name? Jamel.
Well, I could definitely see like certain ones being like, "Hey, do you want Commander Ari Bim Bem? All of these like pole stars are really, really rare. I'll pay for this." And then I can see someone like me going ham and being like, "I will buy all of the cheapest pole stars and just open all of them just to see what rare traits I can possibly get." I could see a better way to go around this.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm kind of curious what the ratio is going to be between a pole star and then maybe a constellation that has that trait in it that relates to that pole star, right? So I'm kind of curious about that. We also have just pole stars, filter for just pole stars, filter for just constellations. Then one of my...
And I do like that you have the little the favoriting option, so that if you want to say retrieve the same crew over and over again, you can be like, I need this pole star on demand, essentially.
Yes. Yep. So all of my currently owned assets, and this one by default, this one is set to show by default when you enter Celestial Market. Okay. So you'll kind of see what's in front of you, what you have, the numbers of each. Any asset that has orders to it currently, any asset that has listings for it currently,
has listings you can afford. Oh,
yep. And then we've added this one, has listings you can afford, and this is based off of how much ISM you have. So we did really spend a decent amount of time on filters alone to help and try to navigate, because we have a lot of traits and we have a lot of crew, and each crew has a constellation, right? So we definitely wanted to really focus in on traits to kind of help the player navigate this marketplace here.
So the question is
one filter.
Sorry. The question is, when you buy, say, a constellation or a constellation specifically, does that then go into your constellation inventory, or does it automatically open there and then?
When you buy one, it will automatically go into your inventory.
So you're not forced to open it there and then. So you could. My thinking is like, I'll buy this low and sell that one high.
We may see that, and that's why we're not worried, but we're really curious and very fascinated from what you guys are going to do with the marketplace, right? Like maybe someone might try to corner the whole market on a specific pole star. Like that it's going to cost a lot of ISM, but I don't know. Maybe it's possible.
In unrelated news, Tilting Point has partnered with a university for some social studies.
Yeah, there's a lot of mind games that can go into this too. One filter that is not currently there, that actually I asked Fury for it today, and within 5 minutes she had it done and implemented and working, is a hot items. So the filter will display from top to bottom of most sold within the last 24 hours to least sold within the last 24 hours. So you can kind of use that filter and kind of see what is hot, what is selling the most, and maybe that's going to correlate to specific, if we release a collection and it's a trait collection, and suddenly those assets are just going to skyrocket in price, and if you have one, maybe you can kind of sell it for more than you would normally get. So we're excited to kind of see what you guys do with it. And last but not least, we have the wish list items. So any item that you keep tabs on and keep an eye on, you can use a little heart icon here and favorite them, so you can kind of keep a close eye on them. and the wish listed items will also sort to the front of any other filter, any filter that you apply to.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it gives them priority. I can see a lot of potential in this for people who say have like crew finish and they get a constellation for them and like, oh, I don't need any of these traits. Like you just get rid of the constellations and make a little bit of your money back, essentially, as it were.
I think this kind of also eliminates the bugbear of people opening constellations again. Oh Christ, I've got tons of Federation stuff. Like, yeah, you're bound to get that, but this kind of go if you specifically going.
Someone else can take that risk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, someone else can take that risk. But also, you can kind of look at this store and kind of go, I want. Like on the screen there, I want a Frosian to get my President Rugger trait, and yeah, you can kind of go, am I willing to pay that cost? You know, it opens up options for people. I think that's kind of what a lot of people have wanted since Crew Retrieval came up. They want to sort of eliminate the random chance of things coming out. So that's quite a nice feature.
Yep. Yeah. So as I said before from this panel, you can kind of differentiate pole stars from constellations just by the icons, by the ones you have, by the ones you don't have. And you can see the name of the asset, how many you own on the top left of the card, if it is wish listed on the top right, and what the going price is currently in yellow on the bottom of the card. And the price that shows automatically shows the lowest price. So the lowest. Also, you can type in the specific asset that you're looking for, and if you search for a trait, it will also show constellations that have that trait in them as well.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So
just in case, the constellations are cheaper than the pole star specifically. Yeah.
Yep. So let me select this one. So by selecting an asset on the left-hand side, you can see how many are available at the starting price, so the lowest price. How many are currently for sale in total, and how many have been sold in the past 24 hours. This marketplace is a living, breathing feature that the players get to drive, which is pretty exciting. I still have a few more things to show off, but I wanted to ask if you guys have any questions here before I kind of move on.
It all seems relatively straightforward so far for me.
Cool.
So you have the limits.
I'm waiting to see the stock graphs being generated. Like I want to see the crazy spikes and the loads.
I want our next. When you say mid-July, I think our late July timelines talks is going to be stock watch. What's going high? What's low? What's crashing now? We're going to have the hot watch on the Polestar chart. I think it's going to be.
Sell all your Pandronian Polestars right now.
I'm going to smash something off the table. I'm going to hit a buzzer, and I'm like, go, sell. No, I'm interested to see that kind of stuff as well. Yeah, I think I like it. I haven't got more to say. I haven't really got any more questions for it. I think you've explained quite well there. Anyone in chat, have you got any questions since we're here and you've got your ears about this? So if you've got any questions about this chat you want to ask. Oh, yeah, that was what I was going to say. The listings feature. So you've limited to what was 10 to list, 10 to buy orders, wasn't it? Is there any plans to sort of keep that there, or any ways to expand those buy orders depending on sort of like your... Say you're a trusted trader, you say, oh, you've been doing this for a while, you could maybe expand it up to 20 or so.
Yeah, so right now we're gonna set it to 10, and that's kind of a limit that we set for right now, and kind of we want to release this feature and then kind of gauge the health of the marketplaces, because this is something that the designers and we're gonna have to keep a close eye on, because it does have pretty decent effects into our economy as well. So we want to leave it at 10 for now. Get some feedback, and kind of monitor things before we make any changes there.
Caleb in chat asks, can you favorite traits from within the Crew Retrieval menu? So say you're in Crew Retrieval and you go, oh, I don't have this trait. Could you favorite it there and then come back to this one and have it be?
So from a Polestar from the Crew Retrieval,
from the retrieval or from your inventory maybe as well.
Yes, and I'll show that in a bit. You can go from Crew Retrieval, click on an asset that you don't have, and it'll take you straight to the marketplace.
Cool.
That's good. So that would allow you to essentially, I don't have this thing, and then go, I could retrieve these crew with this constellations, but, and then immediately go to the Polestar you need and buy it. That's pretty cool.
So Shireporn with the real investor trading here. Is there a limit to a pool of each trait Polestar?
Is there a limit to a pool of each trait Polestar? Like that you can use in crew retrieval?
Possibly, yeah. Or is the other question you asked is, do players set the price, or is it based on trading? I think you said, yeah, you set the price, don't you? So yeah, it's not based on trading.
Players set the price, yeah.
Yeah, and how many shuttlecraft?
So you could always try to.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I was just gonna say you could always, you can see what the current listing is and and low cut it, right? Just like I need ISM now, low it.
Yeah, and his third question is, how many shuttlecraft do you need to water ski behind Ben?
Well, only
40,
one if it's
47?
a flyer, obviously. That's the other good answer.
Alrighty, so I've jumped into inventory. We'll take a look at some improvements and new functionality around selling Polestars and constellations here. So now let's select a Polestar and kind of go through our options. So I'm going to select the Brutal Polestar, and I have a few options. Go view and retrieval, which I think we already in our current live client, and then we have sell. So from here, I can sell this asset. There's no current orders for this asset. So do I want to create a listing? Yeah. So I can from here I can go straight to the marketplace and set up a listing and automatically select that asset and bring you to that's sell. So it's
Shireporn just expands with, I was asking if there was a limited number of total Polestars available to the market, like there's only 1,701 brutal traits available in the whole game, for example. Wonder if you actually could corner the market. I think from what I've said, there is no limit on that other than the amount of listings.
I don't think there's a limit. It would be very, very difficult to try to corner the market. Very difficult. So we're kind of hoping that doesn't happen, but part of me is like, what would happen? That would be interesting. Everyone would hate that person.
Someone just goes on the forum and is like, I get all of the Polestars. You get the possibility of the crew you actually want.
Yeah, that could be dangerous. But yeah, let's kind of move on. So I'm going to select the costumed Polestar here. So now this button changed from sell to sell now. So this is a quick sell. So very similar to our buy now. You'll buy it at the lowest price. Sell now. I can sell it for the current highest price. I can set up the quick sell and the quick buy. You can only do one at a time, quantity wise. So that's only a one. If you want to set more of them, up for sale. Let's see, you have like 10 of them. I assume when we release this feature, everyone will flood the market with, the human, the Starfleet, the Federation.
I don't know, because I think because you've set that 10 limit, I think people might be a bit more selective. Because that was my first thought, was like, I'm just getting rid of all of those for one ISM each. But actually, if there's a 10 limit to sell, then I might go, well.
so let's say no one's buying those things, right? And for human and whatnot. And I'm just gonna pull around. I'll just pull telepath here. So yeah, I let's say I've had this Polestar, this asset on the market for so long, it's just not selling. I'd rather just get quick ISM for it. We have made a dematerializing feature, so very similar to our dismissing. We can kind of grind up this Polestar and get ISM back. And for Polestars,
I can put my eyes back in.
Yeah. And for Polestars, you'll be granted 800 ISM, and for constellations 300 ISM. Currently, that is a set price. Okay. There is no the price is not different depending on how valuable the player base think a Polestar is compared to others. But we made a way to grind up the Polestars you don't need and get some of that ISM back, so you can scan for more constellations or use that ISM on the marketplace. And constellations have the same. And constellations have the same functionality here as Polestars. So you can do the same thing with constellations.
With the, I'm just looking at the rarity ones because people are getting common to legendary Polestars there. Obviously, no one's chucking away their legendary Polestars, but is there a cost difference between getting rid of a common one as opposed to a super rare one, or are they all the same?
No,
okay.
all Polestars are the same, and
okay.
and we would think that. Especially with like legendary and super rares and maybe even rares too, all those Polestars are going to be sold on the marketplace, right? Because those are very valuable and those will be very expensive. But we did want to, make a way to at least get some ISM back for players who, spent 1,000 ISM to open a constellation and just, didn't get lucky.
Auto is berating you hard from the chat saying, please recycle your legendary Polestar. The devil he is.
It's the responsible choice.
It's going to hurt me to do it. It's going to hurt me to do it. God.
But the next person to use a test environment is, where'd the bloody legendary Polestar go? I need that.
Yeah.
So we've also updated things in Crew Retrieval.
Hang on, you're lagging a little bit
from player feedback. So one thing that we've added is a pop-up when you confirm.
Hang on a second, Ben. You're lagging a little bit here. We've lost your stream feed.
Don't you die on me!
Tell you the full size of that retrieval.
See, this was the real puzzle all along.
Yeah. Sorry, Ben, we lost you for the last sort of 30 seconds there. Can you just repeat that?
Well,
if you played that section back, did you get hinted to next year's feature?
So we've added a pop-up when retrieving a crew. It will tell you the total pool size of the retrieval. We got some direct player feedback that when players were especially using the searching feature for crew and type their name in the search bar, making it look like the crew pool size was smaller than it really was. So we added a pop-up in there to make it more clear to the player. And that came directly from player feedback. That came in after the first day, and Shan immediately poked Fury around making those changes. So, and that was from forums and social. So let's kind of just select a few. Sure, let's do that. So I'm going to hit retrieve here. Check out. And it'll pop up here telling me the total pool size, just to confirm. Yeah, we have it up here, but it is kind of way up in the top left corner. So,
yeah, I've seen a few people saying like, I didn't realize it would be pulling from this group. In retrospect, this has been out there long enough that people should know. But there are still a few people that aren't aware of sort of various aren't on the forums or the Discords or anything like that will still kind of pull and expect certain things. So that is quite a nice feature.
Yeah, we also have new piping. So let me show some unowned. Go to the top here.
Ross, did you get rid of your legendary thing? Because we missed that in the glitch.
I did. just for you, Otto.
Oh, we missed it.
It hurt me to do it. I usually it. So I'm going to select one that I don't have here. So INR. And if I click on the Polestar down here, it'll tell me I can do a quick buy right from the Crew Retrieval. Yeah. So, I can spend my ISM. It'll take what the current lowest listing price is, and I can buy that.
That's cool.
Cool.
That's cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Also, with the marketplace, we will have a 1, 2, 3 tutorial to kind of walk the player through right from the beginning. That's currently not up and running just yet, but that will be there. That is everything that I had to go over what's going to be new in 8.1 client. Again, we're hoping to release this client. We're hoping to start rolling out the client in the very, very end of June. Okay. And then, after we force upgrade everyone, after all the clients are out on each platform, we're hoping to start turning these features on in mid-July.
Okay.
Awesome.
So everyone start hoarding all your pole stars and constellations.
You said the H word. You're not allowed to say the H word. Okay. No, thank you for that.
Yep. Any questions before I stop sharing my screen here?
I can't think of anything right now, guys.
That seems pretty comprehensive, honestly. That is a nice, robust feature.
Definitely. I think it addresses a lot of people's I wouldn't say complaints, but wish lists they would have for crew retrieval was like, I want to one of the questions we had earlier was I would like to get one of the questions we've got coming up is I would like to have X crew, and I'm probably not going to say it because we can just say you can do this come mid-July, so that kind of addresses people's main complaints. It's like, oh, it's all random. Well, now you can test against the other players' greeds and maybe buy yourself a Dosi Polestar at 10,000 ISM or however much they put it up for.
I think you wildly overestimate the value of that Polestar.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Time will tell.
Do you want me to leave my screen sharing?
If you're done, you can close it. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. No, thank you very much for that. Okay. Let's go back to community questions from that amazing diversion. Big, this next one, I believe you've already answered the first one on this, which was the latest on the Voyage bug, but they've asked another question. Oh, wait, no, you've actually answered both questions from this, because their other question was, what can I use my abundance of human Starfleet Polestars for? Well, you can just...
You can just dissolve them away.
You can indeed.
All
right,
I think we have some more questions from the chat if Big would like to ask those instead.
I actually have access to the chat, so I...
Oh, fair enough. I'll do it then, and we can stop questions. So, Robert Kaiser is asking if we can have the last sale price of an asset shown somewhere in the UI. So I'm guessing it's a case of tracking how much it's been bought and sold for in your history, I guess. So you know how much of a good or bad deal you're getting.
I suppose, yeah, if someone's got it listed for, say, 1,500 ISM, but you look, the last sale price was 1,100, so maybe I'm getting a little bit stung here.
Yeah.
So I'm slowly catching up because I was off for 20 seconds, I guess.
Oh.
No worries.
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, so could we have the last sale price of an asset shown somewhere in the UI?
Yes. So so you can see the current asset price, and by most means that is what the last price.
Okay, I think it sounds like, say, because I said, let's say you're looking at an offer for a Dosi Polestar and it's 1,500, but then you say, oh, look at the last sale price, it was 1,100, so maybe I'm getting stung there. I think they're looking for sort of like pricing history for the individual sort of the Polestars. I think the comparison I can make is on Steam. If anyone that's sold like cards on Steam for like 3-5p, you can see like a little market history of what's going on there. I wonder if there's any sort of plans or anything in the pipeline for that kind of functionality for the real stock market investors there.
So you can see what we don't have that. I guess we don't have that functionality specifically, but you can see the current order prices and the current listing as well. So I don't know if I showed that.
Yeah, I was gonna say the order pricing is that just what everyone who has got it up for sale. Say someone's got it up for sale at 1,100. Yeah, I'll just click on that now. You can show that off. Hang on. Yeah, just to see. There we go. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I clicked on in our Polestar. And I can see what the current orders are, how many, what the current price is there, and then the listing prices as well.
Okay. Yeah,
so
I'm guessing that's essentially the functionality they wanted. I'm not sure if they want maybe more a system-wide thing where you can just see the market trends, as it were, but I'm sure that Data Core or some other player tool will have that down within a day.
Pull that data,
The other question, the other question I saw was from Stephen Reed. What would happen if another player attempted to buy the same Polestar from the same seller at the same time? I'm guessing that would be whoever's internet connection got there first, right?
Yeah, that would be that. We actually, it happened to us, I believe once in testing, we were doing a play test, is that one player tried to cancel an order while another player was trying to buy it, and the player who bought it ends up getting the part, and the player wasn't able to cancel it. So that can also happen too. It's all about whenever that transaction happens, internet speed on our back end.
Is there anything you've got sort of set up in? I mean, imagine you would do, but like in CS to sort of say like, so I've had a problem with my order. CS, can you help me fix it? I imagine you will have had those conversations with your support services.
Yeah, we've been working on some player support tools in our admin tool around this feature specifically, because it can be a little tricky too, and that's why we actually we added better functionality into it, more information into the my transactions and the transaction history. So if a ticket does come in, a player says they didn't get a certain item, they can take a screenshot of this and say, yeah, I did buy it, and I just didn't get it, and then we can compare that to the data that we have on our back end, and kind of come up with a conclusion and serve the player.
Cool.
Okay. Big, do you want to take the question I was going to originally ask? I feel like that was essentially...
I was going to say...
Yeah, the next question.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Good.
Sorry, I'm just going to turn you up, Big.
Oh.
I'm just going to stop streaming on my side.
Yeah.
But I will say that the question about the Voyage bug and the Pole Stars were submitted by Picard Loves Reds and Robert Durham.
Yeah, thank you.
From Gmail. So the next one is from DFer from Discord, and the question is: with collections being added consistently now, are there any thoughts on a permanently non-portal collection? A thing like the Voyage exclusive crew, Honor Hall crew, to give the players a reason to add sites and really put in the work towards obtaining them. Personally, I'd love the reward to be a non-stat boosting something like another exclusive crew like Holodeck Enthusiasts, or a 5/5 fully leveled ship exclusive to finishing that collection that could be shown off.
Yeah, so I've actually floated that idea around a bit. We already have the Gauntlet specific collection, which is nice, is a good drive for players to kind of get into the Gauntlet. I've kind of floated around the idea about maybe a Fuse crew collection, though I know Fuse crew are kind of hit or miss because the UI is not always that informative. Like, for example, it doesn't tell you that you can't fuse a crew that's already immortalized. So, like, if you were to base a collection on that specifically, probably at least they're kind of explaining that. So that might cause confusion. The Voyage and the Honor Hall exclusives are great ideas. That's something that, we actually do already have on our collection idea list. And that would give players some good longer term goals to grind for. So the past couple of collections that we have released have been with lots of crew, which can be kind of overwhelming. They've been kind of bigger and wider traits. So I've been kind of messing around with, releasing some smaller collections to kind of even that out. And I was kind of curious, like, what your preference on collections are there, because I know we have released a bunch. We've been releasing one every month, and they have been pretty. A lot of them have been pretty big. I think our last one was like 80 crew or something.
Yeah, it's around about 80 or 90. I know that a lot of people have been asking for the Killing game as like a collection of all the ones from the St. Clair essentially collection, where you'd have like Bartender Tuvok and stuff like that. I think that'd be a fun collection, like a smaller one.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, that Year of Hell, you got quite a few crew from sort of that two-parter episode in the game now. So I'm just going to intersect. Dam from chat, the sort of one of the Data Core associates, has said, I'm going to say it, pointing collection. You've got a lot of crew that are pointing in various directions. I think I've seen a lot of chat of people saying, yeah, I just want crew that are pointing. I don't know. I know you guys struggle for anything that doesn't have a trait, but that is, that would be a fun one.
No, that is funny. I think we've actually themed theme packs around that, just pointing, or I think it might have been like pointy sticks and pointy objects or something like that.
Yeah, that's familiar. Yeah.
They're the fun ones.
One question from chat, incidentally. Where was it? Would there be an option to sell pole stars and constellations to fleet members only, like to restrict who you would sell to? Or do you feel like that would be bad for the market? Okay.
Yeah. So we kind of went back and forth on that, and we want a help and to kind of hold those assets, hold them directly between fleet members is not really is not really helping that, keeping the market healthy. So we'd rather kind of just have the marketplace as one centralized place where that's where you go to get the thing you want, and there's no insider trading going on.
I was going to say the one thing I don't know if I picked up on, but when you were buying something, there was the option to buy from the cheapest. Is there option to select the buyer, or is it literally just cheapest option available?
I believe you have to set what the cheapest is for buy, and the highest is for
for orders as well. So if you set an order, say I'd like to order this at 1,500, would it find the lower one, or would it find anything exactly that price? Sorry if you already covered this and I missed it.
Sorry, repeat that one more time.
If you set an order and say I would like to buy Brutal Constellations at 1,500, and it goes, I found these listings and I bought them for you, would it specify 1,500, or would it say, I found this one at 1,490 and I bought that one? Or am I misunderstanding that?
So if someone sets up a listing that's lower, I think you would get it for a lower price.
Okay. So
I'll have to double check that, and that just means that the person that was selling wasn't really doing their homework, right? They weren't looking at what the current thing is.
Yeah. So. Okay. No, that's fine. But there's no way to specifically look down the list and go, this person's selling. I don't want to spend the lowest. I want to spend 1,310 instead of 1,210 because I'm an insane person. But it's cheapest or nothing, essentially.
Dollar ISM bills, y'all.
Yeah. So this question may have come up earlier. I may have misunderstood it. I just got a message from someone else. But so with the limit of 10 orders per type, so you can have 10 orders per type with a quantity of up to 99 of this. So, so I can set one order and set the quantity from 1 to 99. So I can buy up to 99.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a lot of pole stars.
That is a lot. Okay, going back forward to what you were talking about traits, Auto's just come in on chat because he's apparently still part of the show. You've said collections not tied to traits such as vanity collections are more difficult for you to manage. You have said that before because a lot of your traits have reflected the fact that collections have been survivalist, they've been biologist common traits. Are they completely off the table, or is it just coincidence me getting trait only? So have you been looking into ideas of using, say, the hidden traits, or actually maybe expanding that into different ways?
Yeah, so the point of when we were trying to release a collection every month, we wanted it to try to be have the lowest burden on the current live ops team, because that was an additional. That's something that we didn't have prior that we wanted to add to on a monthly cadence. So we wanted the least amount of time and effort there. And by making them trait specific, that was the easiest way to do it, because that's we have tech already built in for that. And it just kind of updates automatically with just adding every crew that's in there. As for is it off the table to do non-specific, like non-traits? It's not off the table. They would probably be more unique kind of experiences. Like I know one of them we have, I think it's holograms. We have that gives a 5-star crew. So like if we're going to do something like that, like a very juicy reward, we would. So that's still on the table there to kind of do that. As for using the hidden traits, I've kind of wanted to do them because with some of our hidden traits, we actually have our series is defined there too. So do we have a DS9 hidden trait? We have a Discovery hidden trait, and we could have collections based on series, which I think is pretty cool. But currently hidden traits are not searchable, which is part of the problem too.
EV suit is currently a hidden trait, isn't it? And that's one of the big collections. And I believe your Q collection one as well. They're sort of the smaller collections, but they are based off those at the moment.
Yes. Yeah. So we would want to try to make hidden traits searchable, or add in maybe like what collections this crew is currently in the crew details or something like that. Which we do have a task for. We're hoping to get to it. We were hoping to get to it for this client 8.1, but I'm not sure what the current status is of that. It may end up getting pushed to our future client.
Cool. Okay, moving on. The line must be... sorry. The line... I'm not just saying this as a statement. The line must be drawn here. No, that's the user's name. The line must be drawn here and no further. No, we have plenty more questions. His question, long-time player looking for crew. And apologies... line, we're actually I'm simplifying your question here because basically you've asked how can I make it easier to get more crew, which I think as Ben has pretty much answered in the last question, so keep going for those things. But I was wondering if there in addition to this, because he's asked is there a better way to get the specific crew. He's asked about mutated Paris to get Evolved Janeway. Have you thought about in addition to crew retrieval, have you thought about other ways that players can get these crew? Especially, I think he's specifically saying about fusions, and he has specifically said it'd be nice to have both these characters in a campaign. And I warn you, this is how we get 1-0 in a campaign. So let's not push this one too far that we have to.
Yeah. So and that's the point exactly. Like we have kind of noodled on that a few times of adding the two pieces of a fuse crew in the campaign, but that wouldn't really be doing the folks justice that really did have to grind to get those, to get each piece of that fuse crew. So it's not totally off the table, but we'd have to have a pretty good reason to do it, and I don't think we're currently at that point. And as to the previous point, fuse crew are intended to to be difficult to get, right? And crew retrieval and marketplace is kind of has addressed that. That's helped that. But fuse crew are intended to help you kind of explore the game, and they are intended to require decent effort. It's something to hunt for, almost like a little Easter egg kind of thing. We tend to have reruns and theme packs and that sort of stuff sometimes as well. That sometimes will include those fuse crew. So keep an eye on those. Keep an eye on the Time Portal Weekly for those things. Specifically the reruns. Since I believe we do 2 of those a week, and they're at a discounted price as well.
Okay.
Is there if I just jump in for a moment?
Yeah.
So sort of like what I think this question is like kind of driving a bit at is that like there are a few sort of like I hate to bring it up in almost every QA, because I feel like it's like what all you ever ask is there are certain crew that are missing traits that feel like they would be applicable, and crew retrieval has kind of highlighted just how sort of troublesome that can be, and how the omission of one trait that kind of makes sense for that character to have can affect their viability in the long run. So there's stuff like Depsa, who was like released in the last Mega, which was excellent, and the small thing of not being given the civilian trait means that she doesn't qualify for bonus antimatter. And it's like, it's a small thing, but for people who min-max their stuff, it matters. And then stuff like Little John Riker and High Roller Cisco, who have exactly identical traits so that you can't guarantee them retrieval. Like, that might just be a case of you wanting to balance the retrieval so that you can't always guarantee the exact crew that you want. But it is just a case of, as a pain point, certain trait omissions and like not lining up can be a bit of a thing. And I'm guessing that's kind of what they were driving at with specifically singling out those fusion crew. I'm not sure if that's a case of balance or if it's just like a thing that got missed.
Yeah, I mean it very well could be as well. Like we do release crew very often at a pretty quick turnaround as well. So we did do the massive trade audit with the release of crew retrieval. And that's something that we intend to also just keep an eye on. We have a feedback session with player support and comms fairly often, and we get those requests of I don't know if this trait should really apply to this crew or this crew should have the trait. So that is stuff that we are taking a look at. Yeah, we'd probably end up doing it more in a batch update instead of like each individual. But yeah, our list is growing, so keep on posting on the forums, and we're always listening.
Okay, cool.
Two more questions from.
Sorry to interrupt there.
Two more questions from the line must be drawn here. Ben, have you considered using the user community as a beta tester for these new releases? It might help alleviate the workload on the QA process and help make a higher quality product before each release.
Yes, and we have done it before, where it's not as simple as it sounds. Not all features or changes are suited to easily be set up and tested internally. And tested externally in a non-production environment. So the time and resources needed for setting these things up correctly has to be balanced against other priorities more often than not. But that is not something we are discarding either. It depends on the feature, but usually we cannot have the best. We cannot have the beta test on production because the game is a competitive PvP game, and it really depends on what the feature is, right? So we never want to give a subset of our players an advantage over the others. That's bad, and we try to avoid it as much as we can. As for crew retrieval and marketplace, obviously that's something that we really can't test on our production environment. And have players be using it because it does provide a competitive advantage.
Cool. Okay, last question from line. What is the reasoning behind allowing community rewards in Galaxy events only? Is there any rational reason why you don't allow community rewards in factional skirmish? So he's talking about the community goal of getting sort of the first 2 SRs and the final premium pull. It's like, why is that only sort of limited to Galaxy and Galaxy hybrid events?
Yeah, we just haven't implemented it in the events, to be honest. We would definitely like to do that someday because I think Galaxy events have better participation, in the longer run, at least to kind of hit that community threshold. So, that's something that we'll probably be looking at moving forward.
Cool. Big.
All right. So the next one we have is from Effie Eldon. That's an email question. Has there been any consideration about acquiring a license for Lower Decks character? How can players show their interest in this to prove that it would be financially viable?
I think this came right from Idle directly, right? This is not from.
I didn't know.
Don't worry about that.
So my last
anagram for I am Captain Iron.
So my last update I gave you all was that Lower Decks license was not available to us at that time. It was not on the table for discussion. The Lower Decks license is now on the table and open for discussions. So I'm happy to say that there are active conversations around how and if we can make this work and obtain the license.
Yeah,
hopefully I will have more to announce in the next few months.
Fantastic.
Fingers crossed. But we're very excited for Lower Decks to come back and return it.
So this, I'm going to jump in here, and this might be something you can't answer, which is absolutely fine because licensing deals, you're under a lot of contracts and things like this. But was this? Feel free to go no comment, which I fully appreciate you might do. But was this a case of licensing? Because I've seen across the whole sort of the Star Trek market, Eagle Moss, they don't have any Lower Decks ships. A lot of other companies don't have. There's plenty of Lower Decks, like little merch, like T-shirts and pins and things like that. But like the big companies that are producing Star Trek content, like yourselves, like sort of like the model companies, aren't. It was that sort of broad spectrum. No, you're not allowed Lower Decks yet. Or again, appreciate if you can say I can't answer that. So like.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really touch that. I mean, all I can really say is that there was a reason that it was off the table to begin with. And we are lucky that it is back on the table now. Cool. So we're excited that we can possibly get it into the game. So.
Kind of what I thought.
And we've done a few of art tests as well. We've already done a few art tests. So yeah, hopefully I'll have more to announce in the next few months.
In which case, I would like this version attendee, that version. No, okay. Stars, please carry on.
Tendy's become your Worf, isn't she?
Yeah.
Don't
put her in a fucking Tuesday.
So, this next... It's a sore spot idol for both of us. Next question is from Neil McLaughlin from email. And this is a multi-part question. First part, is there a portal update scheduled? I think a lot of people are very curious about this.
Yes. Not this month, though.
Not this month.
But this month.
But one is coming.
Next month, got it.
Yeah, I do want to kind of point on that a little bit, too, is that, because of Crew Retrieval and now Marketplace as well, every time we do a portal update, there's new traits, new pole stars that we do have to add. So there's a little more work that kind of go into that, because every time we do a portal update, those crew are then added to Crew Retrieval. So it's a little more work this time around, but yes, there is one scheduled.
Okay, good to know. Part 2: when, if planned, are any changes to Crew Retrieval expected? So we've kind of covered this, but there is another aspect here, which is I personally think that the cost of and recharge rate for Q power is about right. But no, you know what, the rest of I didn't get the vibe for you. Are there any faction changes planned? We kind of already went over that.
Trait audit as well.
You knew this was what the server was going to do to our questions, and you're going to let us squirm. Are you considering another trait audit? I think you've gone into that. You're going to do lots of small ones.
Number 5 is.
They're asking for specifics on what is planned for Picard Day, but I think you're happy to just let that be a surprise.
Unless you don't. I mean, unless you want to break the news, we're more than.
I don't know. Am I? Yeah, I can share some stuff. I'll share it at the end of the stream after the questions. I'll as a big bang. Yeah.
Okay. Next question's from 10F's Lorca. How many Packlets does it take to change a light bulb?
47. Make it go.
Okay. I like it. Can you add that many to the game so Gred Neblog doesn't get stuck in the dark? Okay. Thank you, Logger, for that. We've asked your second question about the arena rotation and about the collect. Well, okay, the collection one I will address. What is the future of existing collections? Can we expect them to expand as they hit the 25, 40, 60, etc. benchmark? Romulan and Jury Rigger are both getting close to that tier. I think Ferengi's getting there as well. Or are you likely to let them build and do a big update when they reach the milestone? Now, I know you did costumed at 100, and then when you had the last, I think when you had the big sort of veteran and everyone else inspiring big upgrade, you went, costumed at 120. Are you planning to sort of stagger them out as they go, as the crew hit those tiers, or are you going to say, right, we'll wait for a year and then we'll push them?
Yeah, I'm glad this person enjoyed the big update, the big collection update, because I did see a mix of both sides there. Some players didn't like it, some did. As for the future, we have done a bunch in a short period of time, and some of those were larger collections. So I mentioned previously that we probably may end up trying to do some smaller collections, like ones specifically that are less than 30. A big change than at least the past few that we've done that have been over 50. But as for passing milestones, it can be difficult to kind of keep track with every crew that we do add, with how fast we do release crew. So we would probably end up holding from expanding them for a while as players catch up. But as we do go along, we will continue to update those milestones. We want each crew to have value, to have a purpose, to want to collect, and we think collections are a good feature for that. So you can kind of see that, expect that to continue expanding going forward. They may not be like from server to server as the milestone is passed, but maybe in some like we did last time, more of a bigger update in between.
No, that's cool. Okay, this is probably my favourite question in the whole bunch that he's got. Any chance of getting the writer, Jessica, according to the credits, to come on the show? She's got a few fans in the community, and and I think everyone else as well would love to hear from them.
Yeah, we don't want to publicly talk about people appearing on stream. I'll have to figure it out, but we can talk privately about her appearing. And
of course, I think that was kind of
without the details.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could sort something out if she's inclined to. We would be happy to have her on the show, and we can talk all about the story.
She's great.
Yeah,
yeah, she's awesome.
We would be blessed.
We would be very blessed. Okay, 2 more questions from Lorca. Any chance of merging?
I have some more fan fiction I could share with her.
I don't want to hear about that stuff.
Again, we'll do that off stream. Any chance of merging the 2 Ferengi factions, or move Kazon in with the Hirogen, then add a new faction like Q or the Synthetic? So I think this has been one of the player complaints was like got Ferengi traditionalists and Ferengi sort of stand alliance, and a few sort of lesser factions like Hirogen, which aren't really represented in the game so much to the crew that sort of need their items. Is there any sort of plans to? You kind of addressed this earlier, but I don't know if there's been any thought process of how to actually rearrange the factions themselves.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't end up merging factions. If we wanted to add another, we would we would just probably have to spend a little time with the UI to kind of make that accessible, because that the panel is starting to get pretty we do a lot of factions at this point too. So we would just, if we wanted to expand it, we would just add another one, but probably spend some time in the UI. But there's plenty of other factions out there in the Star Trek universe that we could add in the future.
Cool. Last question from Tenef Lorga. Can we get a Ferengi versus Dominion mega featuring Brunt versus Wayoon with Shran as the recurring legendary? Feel free to add any other Jeffrey Combs characters. I think this is a bit of a Jeffrey Combs fan here. And to be honest, yeah, if we had an all Jeffrey Combs mega, I'm up for that.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'll mention it to our writer.
Okay.
Combs Vember?
Combs Ember.
Yeah,
and we get that along with
Still
Picard.
pushing for Picard, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Big, please.
This next up comes from Green Javelin via Discord. What kind of new event type would be refreshing for players? I don't know why he's asking you that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Probably if we ever were to revamp Gauntlet, like maybe a revamped Gauntlet event type. If I still think Gauntlet, there's some potential there. That is a feature that we do want to revisit. But yeah, I think I think Gauntlet might be an area where we could kind of mess around with events.
Yeah, because you mentioned earlier kind of like having like a randomizer for Gauntlet traits would be a bit hard to balance and stuff like that. But if you had an event where it was a case of all crew with this trait get ridiculous Gauntlet but crit rolls, and that could be an interesting like Gauntlet event type thing. I could see that.
Yeah, and we would only want to do it if we revamped Gauntlet, right? Like, I think the Gauntlet, the current system is definitely kind of rigid right now. Like it's all about bonuses, and it's all about your proficiency, right? So. We would, if we were to go down that route, you want to add some more variety and some more, player opportunity into that feature if we were to make an event about it. Yeah, one idea that comes to mind is that I was talking about to a designer to it recently was, maybe instead of selecting one Gauntlet, one crew to face your opponent, maybe you select 3, and maybe the positions are different. Maybe you have a support, maybe you have a range, right? And a range could be proficiency, and that one could be the voyage power, the voyage skill.
Timelines, tactics, yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely potential there with Gauntlet.
That'd be cool. So, I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
So there's and I think that'll just require a lot more player strategy than currently is in the Gauntlet. So I mean, that's not promise that it's just an idea that I have. So hopefully someday we'll be able to get to update that.
Sure. And then next question. Will voyages get updated with new dilemmas and new rewards?
We haven't updated that since launch. Actually, I think we did update the exclusive voyage crew once.
You added two new ones, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll have to keep that in mind. Voyages is another feature that we'd like to revisit down the line too. Like I said on the stream before, maybe sending out multiple voyages could be something that's interesting. There would be a lot of work around that, but yeah, I mean, if we were to do an update like that, like sending out multiple voyages, we would probably, we would add some more dilemmas and some more text in that.
All right. And his next question: any idea of the next gold card for Gauntlet?
Yes, we know who it is. We will be announcing something soon, but not today.
Okay.
Okay.
But today. All right, and just a mega suggestion: can we have a mega with Halloween-inspired crew?
Too spooky.
Did you not like Spocktober? I had fun with Spocktober.
October was great, but I don't find Nimoy very spooky unless he comes out of his grave and attacks me.
That is true. That is true. We usually have like a monsters theme pack or something like that to go along with that. I'm not sure if we did a campaign around that theme once. Currently, we already have a mega plan for October, but if things change, that may be a backup.
Okay.
Halloween's always a safe bet. Next up is from Law's Data of Data Law from Discord. A question for Ben, as opposed to a question for me, Idle or Big. Sooner rather than later, can we get an update to the event interface to let squad leaders share their crew in a faction before the event starts, at least 24 hours, if not more? That would be greatly helpful for all squads, but especially those with leaders that are international whose start time is too early or too late for an on-time share. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a valid point. We've gotten requests around this before. We would have to update the UI, and I think we'd have to spend some time in the code of the feature as well, of events in general as well, to kind of enable that. But yeah, I mean, I'll talk to the team. We've gotten this request from our player support and from community as well. But I believe a task is created for it. It's on the backlog, and we'll have some discussions around these quality of life changes and more quality of life changes.
Okay. Next question from 10F Loki. And this is again this is the arena Q&A. This one is there any new mechanic for replicating or retrieving ships? And because there's quite a few that are now not in Portal. Almost got the Portal ones completed, but once they're updated, I'll be back at square one, even with worse odds from the normal packs. Even getting them in Darbo would help. I think Darbo has been the same for quite a long time. But yeah, even sort of replicating, retrieving ships, making that sort of, because I know, when you release a ship in Skirmish, you only get sort of enough to sort of build the first sort of tier of them. But I know a lot of people, since there hasn't kind of been a ship Portal update for quite some time, would like to sort of, like you were talking about updating the arena, they would like to be able to field them with some effectiveness in that regards.
Yeah, I after reading this question, I did take a look at our loot table and what schematics were in there, and the last one that we added was the Orion, I believe. So it's been a while. Yeah, that's we have a task for that, specifically the Dabo, and as well. Last year, at the end of last year, we did a 2020 ships pack that included all the schematics of the ships that we released for that year. So we'll probably end up doing that again at the end of this year, and then with that as well. Also, hopefully we'll be able to update the schematics in the arena and get that done and add maybe some of the new schematics in there. And add them to the premium portal. So all those things are on our list. But I'm curious, did you guys pull the end of year 2020 ship pack at all?
I've only ever pulled on one ship pack in my entire life, and that was for Pike's 1701 Enterprise, back when skirmish events didn't give you enough schematics for the 1 out of 10, and I really wanted it. So I didn't pull on that one, but I was interested because I do like the Navar, but I don't know about you guys.
Not that one. I think the only one I ever pulled for was the Enterprise E.
Mm-hmm.
I have not yet, but then I've sat on my Creighton and I've never locked eyes with any other ships since. So
Right.
I've got Creighton, I've got Killy, I'm in love.
So if we rebalance Arena, then you might be in trouble then.
Did you touch my girl?
There's almost some kind of incentive there to have a look at that kind of thing.
It's fine. I've got plenty of other 400% boomers. It's fine. Okay, Big, please carry on.
Okay,
Boomer.
Another goose question. Sunkatse siete. Do you have it ready?
Oh, yeah.
Siete.
Carry on.
Is there plans for a needed tool to allow Admiral's officers to check who is performing dailies and who is not? After ISM implementation, it has become an issue.
Yeah, this is already added to the, so it's on our list. We realized that not giving the Admiral officers that information can be frustrating. So yeah, that's added to our list.
Cool. Next question is from Wide Brim on Discord. When does the licensing for use of Star Trek characters, marks, etc. expire, and how far in advance does it need to be renewed? This sounds like a bit more of a business end question. I'm not sure how much input you can give or would be inclined to give here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not supposed to comment on the relationship of the contract with CBS or Famicom, but I can say that we'll be working on this game for many more years.
Okay, cool.
There you go. That's the reassurance I think they really need.
I think we've spoken before about what kind of blanket licenses various companies have, but yeah, that's something you can't. That's not something that you yourself can comment on. We can understand that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question.
I mean, especially because I've already told you that we're looking to get the lower decks license too. Yeah. So there are years ahead for Star Trek timelines.
Cool. Good time to be a Star Trek fan. Okay, next one you kind of answered already because you mentioned it before. It's from Gazoo. Question for Ben. Previous episode, Time Last Talks. You passively mentioned the possibility of running multiple voyages simultaneously. And you said you've automatically filtered, but that's nothing that's on your immediate list. Is sort of you kind of said is kind of in the ether as a kind of maybe.
Yeah, so definitely more thought has gone into that specifically. One thing we know a lot of our veteran players have been asking for is more things to do with your crew. So one of our goals for our next update after 8.10, and the features that we're going to be working on after that, or feature update we're going to work on after that, will be focused around leveraging the crew depth of players. So that's something that we've gotten a lot of requests for. Is just I want more things to do with my crew. And so that's a major product goal for us for Q3 and Q4. So, the majority of our features or update that we're going to be putting out in Q3 or Q4 are going to be related to that goal.
Cool.
I do a little more, but we have had a bunch of ideas around this, around just leveraging more crew, more the depth of your collection. And if I'll just share a few ideas that have come to mind, and one of them, especially with veteran players, you guys have a lot of immortalized crew that maybe you have frozen or whatnot. And having maybe something special to do with only immortalized crew. So maybe special, and this is just a random example, special shuttle missions or something that is only immortalized crew can be sent on these shuttles, and maybe the rules kind of change of who you can select or the skill types or this and that. So yeah, I mean we've been bouncing some ideas back and forth, and the team around at least that product goal of leveraging crew depth. The team is going to be having a brainstorming session, and we'll have player support and comms in there, and players for players requests, and and the whole team to kind of try to come up with an idea that works.
Cool. Big. Would you like to ask the next?
So, next up is Survivor Guy from Discord. And you guys might have to help me out on this one because I still don't quite understand what is being asked here. When will the 4-star drop issue be fixed?
So I know what this is asking. So when you go to farm for an item, sometimes there is an item at the top which has a different icon to the rest of them, and it is saying, "Oh, you can get this 5 stars," but you keep farming it and nothing actually ever comes from it. So is that bug that sort of sits a sort of little fake mission at the top? I think that's what he's talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a bug we've had for a little while. It's on our backlog. We've actually pulled it in and tried to fix it once or twice now, but I've just either run out of time for the specific server or whatnot. So we're still aware of it, and we're still looking to address that.
Okay. And then, when will the admiral or officers be able to close down squads with temporarily inactive squad leaders? You don't want to remove the squad leader from the fleet.
I believe no plans on that specifically. I did mention, I think earlier, around other, I believe it was squad or admiral kind of permissions around the dailies. At least coming up with a tool or a filter for that. But no plans on this specifically.
I know sorry to jump in there, but I know there's quite a few sort of fleet leaders and sort of squad leaders that are definitely after a bit more sort of fine tuning, a bit more sort of admin capabilities of their fleet to just kind of manage things a little bit better, be able to move people about, and sort of just be able to manage things a bit better than what they can.
Yeah. To see is just the ability to rename squadrons without disbanding the squadron.
Yeah, that's another
one. Anyway,
there. Awkward silence.
Would it be possible to show crew share info for each squad as shared during the event?
Yeah, we would have to implement that, and there would be some UI updates around that. No plans on that currently, but yeah, we would. I guess that's kind of hit or miss too, because we don't really. I guess the squadrons weren't intended to have players that are maybe jumping from squad to squad to kind of get the the shared crew, the best shared crew. So that's not really the intention of squads. So yeah, we probably won't end up doing that, but I'll definitely keep that in mind.
There is definitely a meta within fleets for building strong squads too. And I know, shout out the Space Junkies, they definitely sort of have definite rotations for super squads of people who are sharing the best crew to get the best ranks. And I definitely know that within the fleet that I'm in, if someone goes, I've got the great share here, let's have a little swap about and see who can get the best bonuses.
Say next question, I think you've basically already asked.
On that one.
Yeah. And so here's the last question. Any update on fleet versus fleet play?
Yeah, it was. Is this like a fleet versus fleet feature, or ranking fleets in an event? This question kind of, I guess, implies that I said it was a thing in the past, but I don't think I have said it was a thing on stream. So there's not. Yes, yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of that are on radar, things we would like to do, things we like to experiment with, and just specifically, I believe we did some data investigation into it and see if it would be valuable for us on the product side to have something like that, and as of right now, it's currently not. So.
Fair enough. Next question is from Apollo on Discord. I love Crew Retrieval. Me too, Apollo. But the credit cost for legendaries and quantum cost for super rares is making this feature less accessible to mid-range players. Even me, a higher level player, the credit cost is preventing me from speeding up my quantum with dilithium or retrieving any super rares. Will these prices be adjusted at some point? and I'll leave the next part because I think that kind of flows on off whatever parts you may give.
Yeah, it's set to what it currently is for a specific balancing purpose. But we're not going to adjust the credit cost as of right now. We want to wait and see with how Crew Retrieval kind of changes that, with Celestial Marketplace kind of changes that. I want to. This player might be already doing this too, but you want to make sure you're doing all the things you can do daily to max out in your credits. So that's at least 8 shuttles if you can. Doing your voyage, completing your cadet challenges on Saturday specifically. That's the one that gives credits. And campaigns and dailies. So that's probably your best bet to get credits.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt to pop a supply kit and do some farming every now and then as well if you perform in Galaxy.
Yeah, supply kits especially. Yeah.
Yeah. The next part was when will the next portal update be? You've already said really there's no specific thing nailed down. Will there be a more regular portal update schedule now that Crew Retrieval is part of the game? Yeah, so
I previously said there is a portal update scheduled, not currently for this month, but after that. The cadence might have to change with the release of Crew Retrieval and Marketplace or Celestial Market. There's some investigation that I'll have to do and kind of look up some data and figure out, if we do have to make an adjustment there. So that is something that I am keeping an eye on.
Would you say that would be sort of like a longer sort of cadence? You say you're changing sort of the cadence. Do you think it'll be a longer kind of time because there's a bit more work involved, or you think you could actually compress that down a little bit more once you kind of get the workflow sorted out?
Yeah, I think it's part of. I don't know. It's kind of back and forth, and even the the trend that the honor sale has kind of set has kind of has an impact on that decision, right? Especially with players that are spending their honor during honor sales, and holding on to it in the meantime. So I think I have to keep those things all in my mind and try to with a better solution. And I can't say anything now, but I'll have to take a look at the data, figure out what would be more beneficial to the product and for the players to do it sooner, or every few months, or every 8 months or something. So no idea yet, so that's something that I'll have to take a look at.
Okay. Next question. Okay, before I do my next question, are you okay there, Ben? Because you did say your allergies were playing you up for the hay fever and that. Do you need a drink? Are you okay?
I'll take 10 seconds here.
Okay, yeah, you're fine. You have yourself. I'll have this question while you're doing that. This is possibly my favourite questions because a lot of people do like to have a little bit of extravagance with their bridge crew, but this is from Sawpoint on Discord. Would it be possible for us to access our entire crew roster for, and I love how they put this in quotation marks, bridge crew purposes, as implied, this is something illicit. No, access to our entire crew for bridge crew purposes. Currently, we can only utilize crew in this fashion who aren't frozen or are actively in our roster. This would be similar way that we can choose an avatar image for crew we own but aren't frozen. So I know a lot of people like to stylize the bridge crew, and there are a lot of really nice super rare crew and even rare crew as well that people like to have on their bridge and stylize, but obviously it takes up a crew slot. So is there any sort of any kind of feature or any thought to be given to kind of say kind of just paint your canvas?
Yeah, like a bridge crew photo mode or something that could be kind of cool. And there's no plans on that currently, but we would probably want to add some sort of gameplay purposes around that and a reason to do it. Not often do we add in a feature in the game that doesn't draw a purpose or a benefit or a reward to the player. So we'll have to brainstorm and see if what gameplay aspects we could kind of attach to that, or what sort of reward to the player we could attach to that. I don't know. Can you guys think of a?
Well, I was just thinking sort of short term. I think a lot of people would just like to sort of use the function there and just say we just use our frozen crew and just put the image up there. I think there's a short term kind of that might be a nice little UI thing,
Well, I've mentioned in the past that it'd be nice, I think in the QA that it'd be nice to have like some kind of bonus for like stacking maybe all Klingon crew on a Burrell or something like that, or having all Borg on a cube, like some kind of theming like bonus would be nice, even if it's only a small thing. It would, I think that would drive a little bit of like incentive toward it, but I think it is, for most people it is just a case of aesthetics.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's how we expand arenas. You put Borg on a Borg sphere. Maybe that get a buff. I don't know.
I mean, I know personally, like, if I'm in Gauntlet or I'm in sort of like, top ranks, or I want to see who's, I click on some crew around me, or I see a familiar name in sort of the rankings of the events, like who's on their bridge crew, I tap it and go, oh, they got this lineup, and that's quite, it's a nice little sort of personality going, oh, they got this crew, or they've got this funny little lineup, and it's kind of a nice little sort of a little bit of it's essentially, aside from the avatar, it's the sort of the personality that the player can sort of address to their own sort of profiles. That's a neat little feature that I think he's sort of asking for a little bit of expansion.
4 Captain Triples? What?
Oh, don't. I have seen some things like that. Actually, I don't think you could, because you could DYC, you could double your crew the Captain Triple, but you wouldn't be able to get any more, would you? You'd only be able to have 2. Anyway, I digress. Big, please carry on.
This is from Walker Keel and Wide Brim on Discord. Hi all. My question concerns some insight into the topic of character voice clips. To my recollection, this hasn't come up in a Q&A yet. So few cards have one. Many are not character situation specific, and lately they don't seem to be a thing at all anymore. Is it a feature they have mostly abandoned? And bonus question, is there any chance we'll one day get a voice clip for George and Gracie? There's certainly some whale sounds in the public domain in case it's a money issue. Anyway, good luck with the show, guys. Looking forward to it.
Thanks. Yeah. That'd be funny. We did add a voice to a new crew a while back. I think it might have been like a year or 2 ago now. But we haven't done one since. Getting voice clips adds a decent amount of time getting the clip, making sure that there is no interference from other things going on during the scene in the show, or we get the clip directly from CBS, and then often we have to clean it up, and it ends up becoming a lot of work. Plus, the vast majority of our players play the game with the sound off.
But hang on, it is best played with the sound on. That's what you guys
are telling me. That's why we added that there.
It's
all because of that one. Because of that one. Yeah. That's why everyone has it.
That's the
one. And plus, audio clips are large files too to store. And that's probably the biggest thing, is just like, it does add storage to it, right? Holding the audio clip. They're not small clips either.
For 1,000+ crew, that could get a bit.
That could get pretty bad. And yeah, George and Gracie was kind of a missed opportunity to add a sound clip there, but due to the difficulties I just mentioned, that's why we've kind of haven't really expanded on that functionality as of recently.
Well, and
I don't blame you.
Dovetailing into functionality, they added on one more little bit. It said, speaking about audio stuff, individual volume controls for music, voice, and ambience noise would be such a great little feature.
Yeah, to create individual sliders at this point in the game, we probably have to go back and revisit all of our audio, and that would be a big ask, but probably won't happen for Star Trek Timelines, but our future projects, that's a standard now, really, in games. So we'll probably end up doing that for whatever our next thing is.
Timelines 2.
Okay.
Okay. Stars, do you want to take our final question for the night?
Yeah. Our final question from Zeldoc on Discord. Could we get a frozen tag in the crew overflow so that when beholds know who is frozen and the crew overflow already has tags? Also for beholds, I'm guessing it's just a case of making it easier for you to identify what crew you've gotten from a pack or a recap that are already frozen and therefore can be dismissed for honor safely.
Right. Yeah, that's we have a test for that. It's on our backlog. I actually just checked in with it earlier today. So yeah, we are aware of that. It's definitely something we'd like to add.
Cool. Okay, let's wrap the night up. That has been absolutely fantastic Q&A. Thank you for everyone in Discord, on the forums, and people are submitting by email for submitting questions. Thank you very much for that. I think we pretty much got everyone's questions in this time, but for everyone that didn't, we will save them and hold them for next time you come up, which I'm just going to assume there's going to be a next time in another 6-7 months. So because we love having you on here. We love having everyone on here, and especially the wider WRG family. We'd love to see more of you, definitely. Because I think I said last time on the charity stream, can't let you hog all the limelight. We've got to let some of these other guys on. But no. Thank you very much, Ben, yet again for joining us on another family Q&A, and thank you again for sharing the new details of the upcoming event. Yeah.
So I do have some Picard Day goodies that I can share with what's coming up. So. Yeah, so this month is Player's Choice Month, with Player's Choice Mega, which currently I believe we're going into week 2 of that. Starting yesterday, we have a special promotion going on for new players who are coming into the game, who have installed recently. So for new players, we're hoping that. Might get more new players in, and so be nice to the new members if they come into the community. On the 10th, we have the Pride and Joy campaign that's going live tonight, I believe, in about 9 or 10 hours or so. And we've gotten a lot of requests since the last time we tried this specific thing, and that's adding 20 additional tiers to the end of the campaign. And we have added accolades to the event threshold rewards for the next 4 events, starting with this week's event, Playing Hardball.
Nice. I was going to ask you very quickly about that, because last time, I completely forgot, but last time you added that was for sort of, you were doing your own sort of market research to see sort of the who was sort of playing dailies after a certain amount. What is the reason this time? Are you doing a bit more market research, or are you just kind of going, hey, this is a cool thing to add?
Yeah, I mean, the main reason is that, we got a lot of player requests after we did it. And yeah, the market research was good. It was good data back. And we really didn't touch it since, but since it is Players' Choice Month and it's all focused around the players, and this is something the players have been asking for, we thought that this was the right time to try this again. So
cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, we tried that last winter, and like I said, players have been asking for it again. So this was the perfect time to do that. On the 14th, we'll have special high value limited time offers that are going live. They run through Picard Day. Some of them that we don't typically run, only for special occasions. So we'll have the Raise Your Crew, which is a $5 for 10x premium packs and $4.90 dilithium for $5. That's one of my favorites. And then the other one's Rapid Recruitment, which gives 20 10x premium pull packs. 3,000 dilithium for $25. So those are some high value LTOs we don't typically run, but since it is Player's Choice Month and over Picard Day, figured we'd run them. So on the 15th, starting at 1 a.m. Eastern, we will have a free 5-star giveaway pack in the time portal that includes a brand new Picard. Also, at the same time, we'll have 3 new temporary achievements that will go live, giving out one of each of the new Picards, the same Picard that's given in the giveaway, and 3 of those from the achievement. So that's a total of 4. The achievement will be based off of shuttles, dilemmas, and event participation. I'm so good. I did it. And then the 15th to the 18th, we will have a Picard Day Behold, which is the same structure as the birthday Beholds that we recently did with, I believe, There's No Weather, which we've gotten more player requests for as well. So that's 1,500 dilithium for a 5-star Behold. And you will get to choose one of Mambo Picard, Cayman Picard, and Rom Picard. We will also be getting featured by a few of our our partners and platforms throughout this whole month. So because it is Picard Day, welcome the newer players with open arms, and don't have them go screaming. The 22nd, we'll be releasing a new collection, the Android collection. So this one right now, I think only has about like 28 crew. And so this one's one of those little smaller collections, I believe. So
is this? And I have to ask just now, and I don't know if you're in the pipeline for this. Is this a stat boosting collection, or is this a what people call vanity? So there are no sort of existing sort of stats boosters, just sort of bonuses. If you
there will be some stat boosts in there. I believe engineering science. I'll have to double check, so don't quote me on it. But
I've already quoted you on it.
Okay, good. It's already printed. It's already
out there.
There's
nothing you can do.
Stop the press.
And towards the very, very end of the month, that's when we will be starting to roll out the 8.10 client. So some features I showed off today will not go live until after all platforms and those clients are live, and after we force upgrade on all platforms. So currently aiming around mid-July is when you'll see like the Celestial Market turn on and that stuff. I also want to do a plug. It's Picard Day, StarTrek.com/Picard Day. There will be panels. They're airing episodes, maybe some teasers. So keep an eye out for that on Picard Day. And then, like I said before, starting in August, Paramount Plus is going to deliver what Star Trek Timelines has been doing for years, and that is new Star Trek every week. So, and they're going to do that for the whole year.
Oh, wow.
So we're really looking forward to that.
You heard it here first. Exclusive Star Trek news. Yes, we've made it.
We've made it. Yeah. That's great. No, that's all the goodies I have to share.
I'm an internet now.
Yes. I'm something of a meme myself. Too many levels. All right. Okay. Thank you, Ben, for coming and joining us for this. Thank you, everyone in chat, for doing this as well. I think we're gonna chat amongst ourselves a little bit, process a little bit, Ben. So no, thank you for joining us. Thank you for everyone in WRG for coming in chat as well. So thank Fury for coming and giving her rock and stone as well as her amazing ISM market manipulation.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, and we will hopefully see you next time.
Alrighty. See you guys.
Laters.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah. Oh, right. That's a lot to process.
Right, I'm just going to very quickly check how many androids I have
immortalized. I was just going to process that. Yeah. Shall we go for the big elephant in the room here? Is that the whole Celestial Market? I had to look down to see what it was called because I had forgotten. Celestial Market, which kind of is a bit of a... I know there are a lot of people in the community that have said, like, we need something new in the game. We need some sort of new feature. And Ben has kind of teased that that's kind of where they're going to be heading in the future after this. But this is kind of a game changer for those that are collecting crew, that were kind of looking at crew retrieval and saying, this is okay. But now it's kind of stepped up a level and kind of gone, oh, I can get the Polestar I want. Oh, I can get the constellation that I'm looking for.
Well, that's the thing is, like, the amount of questions that we had in that Q&A that were just, I can't get this crew. What do I do with all these pulsars? Like, this very neatly solves all those problems. I feel, honestly, that the dematerialization thing, which does exist after all, I was right. Hashtag.
R.I.P.
That alone is going to solve a lot of people's problems. That's a lot of ISM that's just going to be like, burp, 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 burp. I don't need any of these Starfleet pulsars. Just get rid of them all.
Yeah, and it looked like there was an option to just, when you're trying to do a retrieval, just outright buying a Polestar that you need right then and there. That would be pretty handy, just right there on the spot.
Yeah, and I can also see this being like a big incentive to participate more in events, because now all that massive chunk of ISM that you get every time you rank, suddenly you can be like, I'm just going to go on a bit of a spurning spree and like map out my next 10 retrievals.
I'm really interested in, and I said this, like, in the people that are going to be tracking that market, because if you look, the first thing that came to mind was EVE Online, which has a kind of similar kind of thing. You know, there's a lot of people that sort of like track the I've not played it since like 2011, but you know, a lot of people that track sort of the value of certain type of ammunition for the ships and go, where's the best place to buy it? And this is kind of going to go and get a little bit like this. People are like, hang on, Dosie's go. You know, I'm wondering if people are going to be sort of like looking at the stock track, and I'm wondering, and Data Core, this is your chance. Quick, get on it.
My ILEA probe will finally come in handy.
Well, this is what I'm thinking. Like, you look at like let's say you get a constellation come through, and you're looking at the pole stars and kind of going, I've got back. Okay, disregarding Federation Human Starfleet, but like looking or saying like, oh, I've got brutal costumed or athlete. I've got tons of those. Like, I don't need this. I could sell this. What's the market rate? And like, you get ISM isn't exactly everyone's most needed currency at the moment, because in the game, I mean, I've accrued over like 90,000 at the moment, just because I'm just been quite lax on my scanning, if I'm honest. But, you know, people are going to lax up. This is kind of giving me an incentive to kind of go, well, maybe I'll spend this, or it will definitely put a bit more.
Well, now that you've got the option to, you know, dematerialize any pole stars that you get that you don't need, and just keep recycling ISM over and over. I think
you could essentially just like sell all your pole stars, scan with all the ISM you get, reinvest, and then just like you could like have like a self-propelling, just like keep on like grinding out until you get the rarest pole stars you want. Because I think No Name Namer has done a breakdown of what the rarest pole stars in the game are based on like how many times they appear in a constellation, and it's like I could see something like that being like your sort of like general price index of how much this thing is worth.
This
like
depends on
Creosion or Krenim.
This is going to be my next point, because it depends on the community, because obviously, you know, Pandronium, which is Ari Bimbem's like 100% retrieval, to you or an I would be like, I need that star, I need Pandronium. But if you were to take the Ari Bimbem constellation, that would maybe pick a high price, or maybe people's favorite crew. Maybe someone like, off the top of my head, a Groom Wharf, for example, will probably fetch a high price because it's a Wharf, even though a lot of his constellations might be quite common ones. It might fetch a high price because of the popularity of the card, not necessarily the popularity of the traits inside. So I'm wondering, sort of, that might be a general indication of, and I'm going to say this unironically, and I hate myself, but of market price.
Stopping it.
Stonks. I don't know. I feel like there's definitely going to be a massive like uptick in like the selling of constellations, where you'll see like, you know how every time you open up a constellation, you go, how bad is this one? It's like you look at your Captain Scotts versus your say Chancellor Gorkons, where it's like Human Starfleet Federation jury rigger garbage versus Klingon cultural figure, like politician, you know, like brutal. All of these are like, even if you want to take the lower gamble and you don't want to pay a higher price for the pole star, going for the constellation, it's hard to lose with something like that.
Sure.
And then there's
depends on whether or not you'd like to gamble, really.
And also, there's just the idea that, you know, you could spend your ISM on, you know, whatever 8 scans in a day, or you can just outright buy a constellation from the store, skip all the scans, and just do it that way.
So in one fell move,
scanning
like,
rendered useless again.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. In one fell move, they've kind of gone from scanning shit. Scanning's good. I don't need to scan anymore. So I mean, I think I will, because, you know, your initial scans, your 100, 200 to even about 800, like that's still probably decent. And if you're in a good fleet that's getting the decent amount of ISM, which is going to put more pressure on the fleets to get that large amount of ISM.
Yeah. There is a limited pool of pole stars available, because say everyone in the entire game scans like, you know, 5-10 times a day, and maybe 1% of people get the Ben pole star, and then maybe 5 people get the Pandronian pole star. If everyone tries to sell that pole star and then it's all gone and it's used up in a thing, because they get used up, you don't just sit on these things, you're going to use them on the end. and it will. It's not like you're sitting on gold. You're sitting on something that you can actually use, and it will disappear and be gone from the game after it's finished. So it's like, particularly rare ones like a seed like that. That could get pricey. That could get really pricey.
What do you reckon is going to be like a high point?
And that's where the scanning becomes useful again, because.
And also, it's still only half of the equation, because there's still the the quantum and the credits and all that. So it's still a fixed rate of how fast you can use these things.
I'm waiting to see the equation that is rarity of Polestar divided by void score of the crew average in that Polestar group.
The moon it is,
time,
and then where the orbit of Venus is at the time.
Here's a new feature for the show. I'm going to do horoscopes. I'm going to do Gemini. Your Dosi Polestars are in alignment with your human constellations.
Gemini, you're going to die twice.
Fantastic. Okay, I mean, like,
die once, you die in real life.
Yes. So, like, to come to the other things he touched on, this is sort of mid-July. We're going to have an upgrade, like a forced upgrade to the game, sort of end of June, just got the framework in. So mid-July is going to be, he says mid-July, so I imagine they'll be kind of announcing something a bit more concrete near the time. Sounds like collections are getting smaller, which is interesting, which is, I think that is kind of gone from player feedback, because there have been a lot of big collections. A lot of people have just gone, I am overwhelmed. Like, the collections are great because adding value to Crew, but I think a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know what to do, especially after that last hog. But Android collection is interesting. I need to look up how many Androids have I got. All the datas.
All the datas and the
datas.
So you're looking at Daj, you're looking at Data, Laws, Soji, Tainer,
Yeah, like Tainer actually is now. I'm looking at her a bit more now, because like I've been erring away from.
You can't start her today.
If only you know. That's fine. So
It's not a wash.
either you guys interested in grabbing that 1500 birthday, or not birthday, the Captain Picard behold with was it Mambo, Cayman, and Romulan?
I probably won't be specifically, but I mean, I don't think it's outrageous or anything. But I don't know, just none of those particularly interest me.
The only one I could see people going really hell for level 4 is Cayman, because he's still not in the portal.
I think that's probably going to be my choice. I mean, I love any Picard variant because the event, they're a good name to have. Also, I love that episode. I've got in my unique circumstance. I've got Romulan Picard finished. I've got who's the other one? I forget. Mambo Picard, he's finished. So, like, my only option is, like, I spend 1,500 Cayman. Do I want Cayman Picard? So I think I kind of do. So I might. I've got the dilithium to do. It depends on other people. For other people who haven't got any of them, I'd probably recommend Mambo for the Gauntlet use. If anything.
Yeah, he's decent there. Although I find that, generally speaking, it depends on who you have. Like, if you have Locutus, he kind of falls off in use, but it's going to be very interesting. I really hope he looks at those Gauntlet loot tables, because like that sounded interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, and there was a lot of talk from himself. Like, I think kind of get the impression that WRG has kind of gone, right, we've done crew retrieval. We've got this way of people are getting access to their crew. Now we need to kind of, and there seems to be a lot more progression than there ever has been since the WRG takeover back a couple of years ago. That they're kind of now thinking, right, we need to start and like actively planning for new features. And Ben's just in chat. Thank you for having me. We're a pleasure, buddy. And it sounds like there are plans to actually add some of this stuff and address a lot of the backlog for player requested features and also for new things. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes up nearer the end of the year, because Retrieval wasn't that long ago. That was February. We're now in June. We're now in another new feature that's added, another sort of faction, which means they're putting the work in. They're putting more work into this game than they have. Sorry, I sound like the biggest shill right now, which is, we promise we're not. Like we've taken them to town a few times on things, but the science is they have actually put in the work in 2 new features within the space of 2021. And that's something good to see, that maybe they're looking at various things in the future. And I know.
And you can have a discussion about the sort of, I don't know, I don't want to know what to call it, maybe the iterative power. I think that's probably a bit like big wordy for what it is, but it's a case of they are new features, and it's like, no, they're not new event types, they're not new episodes, they're not new brand spanking new types of gameplay, but that kind of stuff is hard to iterate, and it's hard to test, and it's hard to balance properly. So I can understand going for this kind of stuff, which is more quality of life and long-term value than prioritizing big shiny new thing. Even though
the subject of player-to-player trading has come up again and again over the course of the lifespan of the game, and the answer has always been no. Player trading's not coming. It's not coming. Don't ask about it anymore. And here it is. I mean,
don't look at me. Don't touch me. Don't think in my direction.
It's very limited right now, but the first foot is in the door now. So
the infrastructure will be there.
So I mean, who knows where that will go from there if this proves to be successful.
Yeah, I think if you look at sort of, two things I want to say, like, people saying, oh yeah, we just want card trading. I was like, do you know what that would do? That would just, I have cheated at, I have cheated at games in the past, like, not obviously on games like this, like you play Doom, you play IDDQD, you get God mode, and...
I did hear you pulled on that Polestar pack too many times.
Yeah, shush. And I got my punishment! Shush, anyway.
Punch idol.
But for instance, you play IDDQD in Doom, and you play the game, and suddenly it just becomes a lot less interesting. So I can see, why they don't say, like, you can just get any crew you want just by trading with your fleet, and you suddenly got the big roster, and some people go, yeah, that's cool, and I'm done. Whereas the kind of like the ongoing kind of like, this is where I can improve, this is what I can do, and this is kind of the steps I need to go through, and adding those steps is, I can see why they haven't done player training, because player training would kill the game essentially if it was just a straight have this card and I'll have this card. It works for Pokemon, but it won't work here, unfortunately. But and I forgot my other point. So guys, carry
on. I am very interested to see where because like it seems the collections aren't going to stop. Like, they seem to really like pushing them. They seem to be an easy thing for them to throw value into and like make people happy, because it does make a lot of people happy to get those collection bonuses, even if you only have 1 or 2 tiers finished. So I'm kind of wondering if ever it'll stop.
And it makes all the sense in the world for WRG to do that too, because it makes with some exception, all the crew valuable. It's like, instead of pursuing this one crew to improve your roster, now you have to pursue these 30 crew to improve your rosters. I mean, it makes good,
but not Cartwright. Fuck Cartwright.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. No, I got a behold today. A couple of days back, and that was a choice between 2 fully fused crew and Joseph Sisko. So that was fun. So we can actually, I should have said that. What are you going to do?
Chef collection.
Shit collection is what that's going to be. I'm just looking over my notes. What else are we going to get on this? So dematerializing. 10. Do you think, like, so there's going to be a limit of the amount you can place 10 orders, and you can place 10 items up for sale. I think that's an interesting limit that they put. They could have just unlocked that. I mean,
that sounds like an infrastructure thing. Honestly, they don't want too much demand.
True.
I could see that. I reckon.
Yeah, there you could be on something there.
Let's not forget, he booted up that Celestial Marketplace and it immediately went hailing Starfleet. So I feel like that 10 limit is Part, let's test the waters, and part, we don't want to fucking break the game.
Yeah, that's true. That could be initial. Everyone's just going to put their Federation pole stars up for one ISM and then just crash the whole server.
Well, here's the thing: you like the instant you do that. Well, I would just buy all of them and dematerialize them.
That's a point. Yeah, if you can,
that instantly adds a lower bottom value.
So you've
So unless you want to be Father Christmas and throw out a shit ton of like valueless things so that people can pick them up, and then it makes someone else's day happy, like there's always a lower limit to how much they're worth.
Yeah.
So the day after Christmas, there's like 10 pairs of slacks out on your lawn. It's like, you know.
Doesn't fit me. How dare they,
guys?
But also, I mean, you can't do that indefinitely just because the cost for dematerializing it is, I mean, what you get is less than what you spent on it. So because there's the scanning and then the opening of the constellation. So you would
it sets a minimum, doesn't
True,
it?
but it's a decent way of recouping it. Yeah.
You know, no one's going to sell. I can't remember what you said.
It's a minimum value.
What was it? Polestar's 800, Constellations are 300. So you sell a Constellation, you're selling that for a minimum of 300. Anything less, I mean, you could do, but I mean, someone's just going to get some money back. So, hang on, we're laundering ISM at this point. Can we?
Well, I do think it's interesting. It's like we're talking about I got to min-match my value. It's like it's ISM. It's the most valueless currency in the game.
But will it? But the thing is, if you're now going to be spending more
min-match my ISM, what am I going to spend it on?
Yeah, are you going to spend it more on on the new whatever it was called, the Cosmic Bank or whatever it's what's it called, the Celestial Market? Sorry. We've skipped over the most important news of all. They're getting the lower decks license. Yes, that's. I'm very happy about that.
They heard. Everyone was like, no lower decks, and then just stone-faced disappointment. They're like, okay, we better get on that.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
It does genuinely seem like lower decks had some kind of licensing restriction on it for some reason.
Yeah, no, they've definitely had some issues with various things, and I wonder if that was to do because Lower Decks had a strange international rollout where it was only available in the US, and then like 5 months later it was available everywhere. So I wonder if it was a bit tied to that, which he can't say, and I can appreciate. And I said to him at the time, you can't say about licensing deals, but I kind of half wonder if that was why it was.
Yeah,
we'll pull out of the middle of that. Does a 20% discounted legendary citation really move the needle for you?
Because he said that was positive. 100%, that's 20. No. I think he said that was rough, but yeah. If we were to use 20% as an estimate, maybe.
If that was permanent, that'd be a great addition, but if it's like temporary, I don't know if I'd buy it.
Yeah, it's a hard one to gauge.
That's 40k for a site. That's not terrible, but
I guess I would have to say, it doesn't really do it for me. I mean, because still, just like the specter of the honor sale is just going to be there.
Yeah.
And knowing the difference in the value, it's just like even at a moderate discount, it's still it's not the same.
True, but to be fair, Big, you and I have both in this past 2 months spent 4 sites like on a totally random crew that we were like, this will improve my prospects and I want to do it for fun. So clearly we were able to break out that paralysis enough.
That's true. Well, I mean, and I did just spend full priced honor citations on one of the worst crew in recent memory just to have an first to max. I mean, there are situations where it's warranted.
Love makes you do weird things.
Look, when immortality calls, you answer.
Yeah,
and that's that.
You answer the door.
I have to do a clarification. Ben just messaged us in chat saying that the lower decks license is not guaranteed. We are working on it, but they have the option to work it on. So I'm happy with that. I'm sure they will make it
guaranteed.
100%. No, we get that. I think that was a process. It's not guaranteed lower decks license, but it is something they're working on. They have the ability to work on it.
It's on the table now, which wasn't before. That's
I mean, considering they got the Picard and Discovery licenses, I can't imagine there would be any reason why they wouldn't get the lower decks license as well.
Yeah.
Maybe Eagle Moss will get it too. We get the Cerritos. That'd be great. Finally.
Get that stupid Packlet chip.
Oh yeah, with the claws. With the tiny little
Lego
Packlet
ship,
model as well. Another Enterprise.
Get the Cerulus with the space squid on it, or whatever
yeah.
it is. Yeah.
That'd be a good special XL edition. Yeah, that'd be good fun.
Yeah.
All right, I think we can quite safely wrap this up tonight. That was great. So thank you very much to Ben for joining us. Thank you to everyone in chat and everyone that submitted questions. If you're interested in participating with our Discord, please join the link below. You can see it in the description in the chat as well. We will probably be... I haven't got questions channel open just yet, but we have a discussion about what's happened today channel open. So come along, come talk about the interview and all the things that Ben's discussed over there.
Just a fun little thing, not to step on you, but something that's come up in the Timelines Talks Discord is that everybody's been jumping on the chance to name the episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Before we know them. So, if you guys want to get in on that, that'd be a reason to join the Discord.
So today's episode, we had a vote as well. People jumped onto it, and these guys submit as well. So, but this episode was called "It's Been a Long Road." From a few suggestions, but thank you to Looksy who won the vote for that one quite succinctly.
It's been a long time.
It has been a long road getting from there to here. But there was a few other suggestions. I'm just gonna Nifty Mitten submitted "The Ben is mightier than the sword," and also "It's Ben a minute." Apollo, forget the game, what beer is Ben drinking, which I quite liked. This one took me a while to pass, but this is from Walt Koenig. It's episode 4, O.B. Ben Klingoni. Nobleman with spotless timelines. Big, yours was Ben Trek 4, the one with more questions. And Stars, you did time. This is probably the worst you've done, but I had to laugh and put it in. Timelines in.
It's just awful. I made a wince face at Walt Koenig, but mine's way worse.
Timelines in subvention. The battle for QA paradise has begun. I put it there. You got votes.
It's from the Insurrection poster. Yeah. I got other. People like me. I don't know why they like me, but that's why. It was sympathy.
So yeah, if you want to come and join and all that fun shenanigans, but if you want to talk about, I've got a separate channel in there for the discussion about everything that Ben's talked about in the WRG interview discussion. So come pop along, we'll have a chat, we'll all be there and talking about it, and it's a good bit of fun. But I think unless you guys have any other business for the night, let's wrap this up. I think
we're good.
I think good. Okay, guys, thank you very much for coming. We will see you next week for some more games, and then the week after that, Big, you're joining us again, aren't you? We're going to actually have a normal show for once. So yeah.
Hey, how about that?
Excellent. How about that?
What does that even look like anymore?
All right, guys, we will see you next time. Ta-ra.